crazy.
But we actually, Africans, since they've been raped so often, we go back to the price of land, the price of gold, the price of commodity there. The Congo by itself could not only fund, it's richer than every nation on the planet, and sometimes 10 times richer or more than every nation on the planet. It has more agricultural space to feed the entire planet. 10
Tell
times
them.
right
Tell
now.
them.
It could do that.
Tell them.
But they don't allow that cultivation to be proliferated or grown or even talked about. Because once the powers understand that self-sufficiency is a part of the diatribe of Africa, now we have an issue. It will upset the balance of not only power, but it upsets the balance of economic understanding of how the monetary system works, how supply chain work, how a myriad of other efforts work around the world, and how we feed people. Because let's face it, the number one thing any country looks for in their existence is how to feed their people. If you notice, there's an old saying that says the threat of, oh, I'm sorry, forgive me, the lack, the absence of a threat of external aggression from anybody, that entity will fail. That means the United States, without the threat of external aggression, it's going to fail, because you need somebody to fight in order to keep up your defenses, to keep up the alertness, to remain vigilant, for your threat centers to all be oriented toward the threat. That's what makes you powerful. Any nation without the threat of external aggression will fail. And they know that. And that's why the internal aggression, not the external, but the internal aggression within Africa, between the 54 nations there and between the colonizing or ex-colonized, and to include the new colonizers like China, they're a major influence all over the world, not just Africa. And even they were excluded from the United States back in the 17 and 1800s with the Chinese Exclusionary Act. And the Chinese did something that Black people couldn't do. When Black people, after the Emancipation Proclamation, were not given the opportunity to vote until the 15th, 16th, and 17th Amendments, and then only at 3/5 of a person. But at the 14th Amendment, after the Emancipation Proclamation, what actually happened, if everyone want a history lesson, to bring us up to date with what happened and what's happening in Africa right now. And we're going to miss that boat. All of this antagonism that we show one another, I don't give a shit what color you are. I don't care if you, I know Africans who are whiter than white people in America, and they're the best fucking Africans on the planet. So that what people are saying makes no sense if we're going to reduce it to color. We're being just as ignorant as the oppressors if we reduce everything to color. We have been affected by it. First of all, in order to be a racist, in order to be one, you have to be in power. A man that's not in power can't be a racist. Black people can't be racist in the United States. What can we do to white people? What?
That's true. I am a racist, and I own it because it is my personal pleasure.
No, you say you're a racist, but it's not how you say you are in anything in life that matters. It's what people say about you.
And well, I identify as a racist. I don't know about you.
That's okay. Identification is one thing. That has nothing to do with the reality of how that operates. How racism
like a pianist, like a pugilist, the IST.
No, it's not, that doesn't matter. You can think you're the best. That's called false consensus, brother. No,
the IST of the action.
I've been listening to you for hours, make me. I think you need to understand. I've been listening to you for a long time. I think I have a few things to say. I didn't interrupt you once in the last several hours. I didn't say a word. So now I'm saying my words. Just listen. The ethno-methodologies and ethnocentrisms that you're espousing right now makes zero sense to anybody but you. Not because you're dumb, not because you're not smart, not because you're stupid or any of that, but you're looking at things from your perspective. That's what you're doing. The experiential knowledge you have based on being you is what you're looking at. And that's how you're interpreting to other people who you are. But that's not effective enough. And Black people have been doing that too long. African Americans, or whatever the hell people want to call themselves. I like African American. I think it's respectable. I think people take us seriously. I think it's economic. I think it's going to pave the way for us to be identified as a diaspora, a real diaspora, not just Black people wearing a kufi and some colored T-shirts running around talking about, right on and shit. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what people think they are. It's how the world regards you. There's a whole bunch of golly gee niggas out there right now think they're white. Whole bunch of them. Just golly, how are you? Good to meet you. And some of them, through their ethnicities and their approximation and locations, they can't help it because they grew up in white America or they grew up in golly gee world. That's okay. I can forgive those people because you can't help where you come from, but you can help where you're going. But I can say this with great authenticity, that when we sell each other out over the idea of who we think we are as an individual versus what we should be advocating as a group, as a race, as a culture, a homogenized culture that has been downtrodden since the days of slavery in the United States until now. And somebody wrote in the thing that's just, it's the ignorance we think we know, but we don't. It's called false consensus. Look it up. It's when a person believes that they're right and they espouse and speak on all kinds of issues about being correct about what they think and believe. But in reality, no one agrees with them, but they operate with almost a sociopathic nature of being correct or having always the right answer. I'm not trying to be better or smarter or bigger or louder than anybody here, but I want to be honest and correct. Period. There's three tenets in life that we should all succumb to. When I hear brothers like you talk, I interject because I think it's important that we all are starting to say some of the same things. I mean, I heard you interrupt this other brother 50 times in the call. It was rude, but you were trying to make a point because of your rightness and your correctness. But that's indicative of who you are. You're a self-proclaimed Black racist is ridiculous. If you say it out loud to somebody who matters, they're going to hurt you. They're going to do their best. People want to see you do better in life. They just don't want to see you do better than them. Why talk who you are? Demonstrate it is what I try to teach people all the time. Demonstrate who you are not only through your words, but your actions more often. And sometimes your silence is more appreciated than your words. Why? Because it denotes power. It shares power. In every relationship you ever have in life, it doesn't matter the relationship, whether it's your mother, daughter, sister, brother, dad, son, politician, constituent, whether it's God to the parishioner. Every relationship you ever have in life is nothing but an exchange of power. That's all it is. And it's never 50-50. And it will never be 50-50. Somebody will always go their path and you will follow. It's just how it is. Or they will go your path and they will follow you. That's how humans work. The human dynamic works that way. We don't see it as Black people or as a culture of Africanism or that diaspora around the world because we've never been included in it. We've had to build ourselves in this world and make ourselves the quasi monolith that we're trying to get to. We don't want to always be a monolith, but to start, we have to all be on the same sheet of music. What do we call ourselves? How do we affect other people? How do they see us? Are we still the oppressed or are we the oppressors? I've done things in my life that most 90-year-old men dying on their deathbed today couldn't even imagine. I'm a former Special Forces U.S. Army Green Beret. I'm a former U.S. Army Ranger. I'm an ex-military sergeant, sergeant first class. I went to OCS as a sergeant first class and became an officer. I went to fly helicopters. I used to take dead body home from kids who died in combat all over the world for the U.S. government. I'm the guy that hands the flag to the families for the last 6 months of my time in the military. I've been shot, stabbed, beat up, and blown up. So what we're talking here is really just gravy for the rest of the life. If you really want to know what being Black and powerful is in the world, let's talk about that. Let's not talk about how different we are. Let's talk about how we are more congruent, how we're more alike, how we're more parallel, how we have so much of the same kinds of power. I don't want to get assassinated after this, but somebody's got to start educating us. You got a forum where people are listening to you and they're talking with you and they're responding to you. And some of you are too Black and some of you are too white. But that shouldn't make a damn difference. There are white people that are African, pure blood, their whole lives. Go to Northern Africa and call me a liar. I've been all over Africa more than you've been in your own front yard. So I can tell you right now, my experience and knowledge in business, I built companies all over the world. That's strictly travel. We traveled. I used to hang out with his brother. One day we're in Hong Kong, next day we're in Singapore, the next day we're in California, the next day we're in Nigeria, the next day we're in the Congo, the next day we're in Central America, Dominican Republic, Argentina. We used to travel like crazy. I'll tone it down and say crazy. You know why we did that? Two reasons. One, we could. That's the first reason. And two, we learned so much about the world.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, sir.
It's Richard, America Talk Live. I appreciate everything you said. One of the biggest challenges in this space is trying to put together the right narrative that will push forward progress in the diaspora. In my belief, like if I could connect Africans with African Americans, Black people in America, Black people in Philly, Black people in Atlanta, I don't know. But how do we fix the narrative? And I hear where you're coming from. I really do. And your voice is very, very necessary in this conversation. And I said to Nakmeezy that I had an idea of a Black Man's Forum on a popular channel, which this might be, or maybe Austin Hollerman's channel, or maybe Nakmeezy wants to pick up the live stream. It's real easy. How do we get the brothers, in the words of the song from the movie The Mac, trying to remember the name of the artist, Brothers Gonna Work It Out. How do we do that part? How do we get to that place where, like, even if it's on Zed's channel, as a suggestion, I said, like, how do we kind of get together, have these adult conversations? How do we have the women involved, the Femmies, the Zeds, and the other sisters out here? How do we neutralize the impact of the Kevin Samuels to You Ain't Worthy?
Let's go back to your original question, though. How do we get the platform? Can we just address that before we go into the other people real quick? And the first thing, I think, the first thing that anything you have to do, I used to go into countries on behalf of my government and fight in their wars and help them overthrow their own government, and oftentimes. The first thing you have to do when you're ever trying to make a change anywhere, and not to overthrow.
Who is this I'm speaking to? What's your name again?
Norm Therapy.
Say less.
Yeah. You can go check out the website. It's there. And the first thing you have to do, and this is important, everyone, no one's talking about overthrowing anything other than our own ignorance as a culture worldwide. We've allowed the mainstream world to make us ignorant about ourselves and to hate one another. Once we overcome that, we create through that. And here's something most people don't understand, but you have to do it. You have to create a vernacular. The vernacular you create, the words, the commonality of conversation and issues must be as congruent and as indicative as possible to one another. Once we can establish a vernacular, a conversation where we're always feeding off of one another's points of interest, not
I'm Black and I'm proud.
But James Brown. James Brown is cool, and I don't want to make light of what he said, but between him and Malcolm X and Dr.
That's back then, yeah. That's back then.
Let me just say this about them, because actually I have great roots with all three. Dr. Martin Luther King's right hand was my uncle, Dr. Joseph Lowry, and Joe Lowry, my aunt Evelyn Gibson Lowry, and so he was, and of course we grew up in civil rights. I'm 63 years old. I'm not, new. I'm a lot of things, but new is not one of them. And also James Brown, one of my other cousins, was a top concert promoter in the United States, period, during the 60s and 70s and parts of 80s. And we used to do James Brown in concert all the time. So I got a chance to speak to him backstage, go hang out with him on the road, hang out with, most of the major black artists from the 80s and 90s and the Fifth Dimension, you name it, been a part of all of that.
Not
So
the
yeah,
Fifth Dimension.
Lamont McLemore is my cousin. So I'm just saying to you, I
Surrey
come from
down to
family,
the Stone Soul Picnic.
and you old school. Every song you mentioned tonight is from the 70s or 80s. Every single one,
It
and I
is.
know them all. So
Because
I'm
it
saying that
unified
not
us.
to be
Because it
better than
unified us.
you or to interrupt you or anything like that. I just want to show you reference, and that's what we don't do as black people. We don't
Mm,
reference ourselves. We
mm,
allow other people to
mm.
reference us. You like to be in charge of the narrative. You do. You really do. And that's good. But at the point of silencing other people by saying you're in agreement with them and you're really having your own points to make, that's not correct. But there's a better way to do it. I'll show you right now because I defer to you when you speak. You say something, and I want to hear what you have to say till the point is made. I do that every single time. I really do. But you have to do the same for others, and we have to do that. This is what black people have been doing with one another.
I
We
feel
make
you,
light
brother.
of what they say. We make joking comments to serious topics. We do that, and it has nothing to do with you being a coward. It has nothing to do with you being, how shall I say, uh, self-absorbed.
Old.
No, it's okay. Old is good. Old is good. I like old. Old normally
Old.
says wisdom. It does if you're using it. But here's the point I want to get back to. There's a way we need to talk to each other through a vernacular. And someone wrote that let the egos go away. There's no such thing as ego. Not here tonight. Ego is an intrinsic thing with that people have in order to define themselves to others in a better light. And normally the ego is consistent with lying or hyperbole or prevarication or subterfuge or trickery. None of that of what I'm saying has to do with ego. Everything I've told you tonight is a fact. From, I mean, like right now, look at a group of people. Let's look at a group of people. Let's look at MAGA, Make America Great Again. Can anybody tell me anything about MAGA other than that's Trump's movement? Can anybody tell me anything? But I can tell you that during 1924 T-Dome scandal, where the Ku Klux Klan held their convention, they actually coined the phrase "Make America Great Again." That's where Trump got it from, the Ku Klux Klan. So did Adolf Hitler. When Adolf Hitler, from his rise to power from 1931, 1932 to 1939 in Germany, he he had people, operatives at that place, at the T-Dome scandal, people that he used to help construct how he killed over 85 million people during World War II. With the whole idea of making the Aryan the pure race. He wasn't even blonde haired and blue eyed. And he said that was the best race on the planet and the best culture. That's where it came from. But people now don't have the vernacular, his followers, and a lot of people who think he's doing something right. They don't have his, how shall I say, credibility on the table to measure or to examine. This is our problem. We accept things that people say on face value and we put connotations with that may be out of context or without perspective. When we start as black people saying the same things and understanding them the same way, even if there's the smallest thing as we drink our coffee with our left hand and we stir it with the right, even something as small as that, to be consistent across the board, I think would start black people to start seeing each other eye to eye. I watch Ghanaians look at Nigerians badly. I watch African Americans say African people hate me. That's just bullshit. That's bullshit. Is when you go to Africa and you deal with Africans and they see you have opportunity all around you and you're not taking advantage of it. Africans don't understand something. Why is that the case? They don't understand that they'll come to the United States and they don't let any of those same obstacles that keep black people down in the United States or African Americans down. They don't let any of that bother them and they move forward and they prosper and they produce and they develop and they travel and they exist within that entire corporate and cultural structure. And they wonder why black people don't, because they don't know our history. And the worst part about it is we don't know it either. From the Emancipation Proclamation, as soon as they gave, everybody here heard of 40 acres and a mule. Well, there's a story behind that. Lincoln actually gave 40 acres and a mule to every single slave that was being freed by white America, especially the South, back during the Emancipation Proclamation. He gave 40 acres to everyone all up and down South Carolinian, North Carolina, and part of the Georgia and Floridian coast. And then what did
they do? Brothers do not know that, including Zed. Zed, did you know that? We actually own 40 acres and a mule.
But but there's another part to this, brother. Let me just be clear on this. But what actually happened once Lincoln was assassinated, the very next repeal that went in by the newly formed government, and of course,
he gave the land back.
He went in, and first thing he did, he took all the slaves, and of course, the former slaves, he took them off their land and threw them out. Now you have slaves standing there, no education, prohibited by law to learn to read or write, no way of creating income, families displaced, no support system. Because remember, they went on a sale block for slavery. What happened? Some of the people were sent to Georgia, like a father was sent to Georgia, mother was sent to Alabama, kids were sent to Mississippi. So the families was displaced. So he had nothing. All he had was an opportunity to do what? Sharecrop. And what did they do with sharecrop? They made that bad too. They said, okay, white America said, here's our land. You can till it. You can grow things on it. You can do all this. You can produce. And whatever you spend, you just pay us for the use of our equipment. So what happened? Next thing you know, harvest time comes in. They say, okay, for renting our hoe and our rake and our pick and our axe and our oxen and all of our plows, for renting that, it's going to cost you $49,000. How much did you make on your harvest? Oh, you made 50. Okay, give us the 49 and you take 1,000. That happened for years. And then Jim Crow kicked in. And then during Jim Crow, the reason why it was kicked in, and because the laws changed drastically on the books of Congress and in every state in America to include the North. The North were not angels when it came to slavery. The North had a different kind of business when it came to slavery. Are you kidding me? No, they were both. The North was just as bad as the South, and sometimes worse, because all of these freed slaves would go to the North, and then quite a few of them would be captured by Northerners and taken back to the South because they got a bounty for them. It was a profitable business. And did you know that all of the productive industry and prosperous industry in the country, railroads, telegraph, entertainment, food, agriculture, everything in America at that time, if you put it all together into one pile, it did not equal how much they benefit in the value of slavery. Slavery trumped everything put together. It was so profitable. So when they lost that, here's another thing as a tidbit that we need to know as Black people, and other Black people from other countries who see us need to know, is that not only did they take the land back and sharecropped us and robbed us, but they paid every white slave owner or former slave owner, they paid them lifetime reparations for each slave they lost. So they received lifetime benefit for each value of each slave that the slave owners lost, and they were paid those reparations. You didn't know that, did you? Look it up. I'm not joking, not making it up. Look it up. It's right. We don't know our history.
Brother, I did know that. I know these things.
I'm not talking to you as a human. Okay. I'm talking to you.
Good. I'm glad you're speaking to the broad
audience. I don't have to apologize for what I'm saying, because you shouldn't take it as if it's me talking to you. I'm talking to everyone.
I'm well aware. My parents were, again, as I've mentioned on this panel before, were raised in.
No, that's okay. And that's good. But we're talking about the Black history. Let's talk Black history so we'll understand. I think this panel needs to know this part of this conversation. I really do.
I agree.
Listen, you guys got a voice. God, damn, use it. Use the voice, but because somebody's going to come along who's much better at what they say and do than I am. And they're going to pick you guys apart because you're going to be built on hate. You're going to be built on division. You're going to be built on what's different with one another instead of what's alike.
I don't think so, my brother.
You've been that way this whole night, by the way,
I
fist.
But
don't
yeah, you
think that.
gotta let him finish his points. And Richard, this is
My
what I was
bad.
trying to tell you earlier. Like we have to look, if we can't even communicate on a panel, then any sort of hope of working together is finished. We have to learn how
Absolutely.
to practice internal customer service. Let our brothers finish their point, not agree in a way that just means, yeah, yeah, shut up, let me speak, and not listen with a negative ear. I'm listening to the brother, and I knew like a lot of stuff that he said, but I'm listening to learn. I'm not listening or hearing to respond. So I think that's what we have to do is practice some discipline on these panels. And I'm gonna land my plane again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to complete this historical conversation, and so we can have something that I really like about this group that I've seen happen. And it just happened with the brother with the B on his face. I don't know what all your names are, but I'm going to say with the Bitcoin on his face. It just happened.
That's my name is Knock Measy. That's B for Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Been to Brooklyn many times. I know Brooklyn very well. But matter of fact, I was there with Strictly Travel a few times. But yeah. Anyway, I'll say this though. You just demonstrated something. We have to create a way that we are so direct with one another that it's almost insulting, but it's not. But it's so damn clear. If you look at every other culture in the world, people are very direct with one another. We have such the inability in our own culture to be direct with one another without offending them. It's okay if you tell me to go to hell. I'm like, okay, you first. I can deal with that. I can deal with people not liking me. And believe me, I made enemies all over the world when I open my mouth because I speak the truth. I will never lie about anything. I don't care who you are. If you don't like the truth, don't ask the question. I don't care what you think. If you look me up on the internet, you'll see on my LinkedIn that I talk about Trump, I talk about Biden, I talk about everybody. Not because I'm a negative guy, but I speak the truth. And that's how I am. Look, I got many channels on Instagram and YouTube. I have my own podcast called I have a new one coming up, but my old one is not the confirmation diet. I just changed the name of Socialization of Abuse. I do a podcast on abuse victims all over the world and what they go through around the world from 21 different abuses. I created Norm Therapy. It took me 30 years to create. I've been working on it that long. In the past 6 years, I've been giving out free services to people all over the world who suffer from narcissistic abuse, to child abuse, to sexual abuse, to financial abuse, you name the abuse, elder abuse, PTSD, alcohol, drug abuse. I've been treating them through Norm Therapy for years. I have thousands of testimonials on the value of what I say and what I do. And I have white
I have
people.
a question real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
How did you tap into this abuse lane? Why is abuse so important to you?
First of all, without getting off topic, I'm just giving you my resume, but I will come back to that because I want you to know abuse, everything in life has an element of abuse associated with it, and we don't see it because we've normalized abuse around the world. What I've been able to do in my travels is to observe people. What I've been able to do in my life is to educate myself, and then
Are you retired military?
something like that. I got injured.
Okay.
So anyway, let me finish my thought. I'm not asking you for your permission. I'm just interjecting because I've noticed here, whenever you talk, you want people to apologize to you for interrupting you or stopping you, but you don't apologize to anyone else. And I'm pointing it out, being direct.
I don't intend that, my brother. It's just that I have fun up here.
Then don't do it.
Yeah, I
But
apologize.
No, but how many times do we have to say that though? Like about 3 minutes and 48 seconds, I addressed that. I think it's a lack of impulse control, brother. That's why I
Hey,
said with double dutching, you just waiting to jump in. The brother was given, talking about an issue, and then you cut him. Now he has to go back and then start again. Just let each other finish.
hey,
That's
luckily,
easy.
thank you, my brother. Luckily, I have an eidetic memory. Luckily, I have
Norm,
one. And
Norm, one second.
I'll come back to my point. But thank you again, brother. I really appreciate it.
One
I don't
second,
want to
man.
be nasty. I know how to be nasty to any human being you can ever imagine. Believe me. I have a lexicon beyond most people's imagination. I have no problem with that. I just don't do it. I make a mental choice not to do that. Just like the brother with Brooklyn on his mouth saying you can make a choice not to do that. And that's what I do. I just why go there? I can use you in so many ways in the goodness of what we're trying to accomplish than in the bad. And there's three ways to look at everything in life. You look at it the good, the bad, and the ugly. Most people want to know the good. Well, yeah, you got into the car accident and the car is okay. That's the good. The bad is, well, you broke your leg. Oh, I'll be in the hospital for the next couple of few weeks and getting it reset. But the ugly is you killed 4 people in the other car. See, people don't want to look at the good and the bad and the ugly in life. They only want to look at the good and the bad. So at Norm Therapy, I teach, well, now my instructors in my Norm Therapy department and company teaches Norm therapists all over the world. And we have them on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. But we teach people how to treat one another. So, and we treat abuse victims, how to make people treat them. And there's a way to do it. You know, you could say something nasty. Let's say you were a narcissist, and I think you have narcissistic tendencies. Most men do. That's just a fact. But we don't always expose them to the world. Sometimes we just have them with the people close around to us or whatever. But let's just say for proximity's sake, you're a narcissist. And you say to me, so you're a son of a bitch, Michael, and you didn't say that. You just lied. See, I could come back to you and say, no, you're a liar. I didn't say that. Or I can take your power from you that you think you or thought you took from me, and I can say to you, tell me, what did I say? You understand? I take the I psychologize what you're trying to do to me and just hand it back to you on a plate. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to lose to you or win anything over you. I just want you to see that whatever value you think you're bringing to me does not exist. So I can then move on with impunity because I'm proven right because you have no response for that, or whether it's you or anyone else in the audience. But there's a way to deal with narcissists, for instance. That's just one of the ways. We teach a myriad of techniques, most of which that I developed. And Strictly Travel will tell you that. I developed these for many years. I have another technique called raking. Well, I can make you remember just about anything in your life that you even thought you forgot. I have another one called the Gibson effect. You know, how when you have a best friend and you say, that's my best friend. I know everything about them. They love me to death. I love them. We are so much alike and blah, blah, blah. So what you're telling the world is that is your best friend. But what happens if your best friend is an abuser? And you've been abused by your best friend for years and you didn't even know it because you overlook the very things in yourself that's weak about you. You overlook that those strengths that he has or she has compensates back to that relationship, and it smothers you to whereas you don't even know that you're being hurt. You don't even understand that this false consensus or this cognitive bias or confirmation bias or cognitive dissonance that you're experiencing, you don't know that it's affecting you. So, and I'm just saying to you, exactly, I do on, somebody put my, Strictly put that in there. But I'll say this to you. I teach people how to be more, matter of fact, I even teach a course. I don't teach it anymore. My instructors and all those. When I say I, because I created the course, it's called the Human Lie Detector. Yeah, because I've done all kinds of things in my career. And one of them was figuring out if people were lying. And I teach a variation of that course to people about the signals and the tells that they show, the micro impressions in their face that we see, the shrugging of the shoulders, the tapping of the finger, the crossing of the legs, the folding of the arms, the blinking, the carotid artery in your throat just beeping away and banging away. I teach people how to notice those things. Why do I do that? I do that. And I think Black people should start paying attention to what I'm about to say on the planet. As I think Spike Lee said, we've been bamboozled for a while. Pay attention. And that is, the first thing that happens with a victim of abuse, what's the first thing they do? They become pathological liars. They do. because they'll lie to you to order to maintain the facade or that fake personality they've created to deal with their abuse. So our norm therapists have to learn how to discern whether or not they're telling the truth or not. So we teach people, it's a long module course and it's not easy. And we go through a lot of practical application where we teach them how to detect lies, period. And so when they go into a meeting with a patient, because you know the girl, come on now, the one with the black eye and the bloodied lip and the broken rib, she's probably holding her side a little bit. The first thing she'll tell you, brother, she'll say, he loves me. That's why he beats me. Now, who's lying to who? She's, of course,
I'm
lying.
going to call Cat on what you've been talking about, and I'm
Say
going to
again?
step down.
Can I say something?
Sure, please.
Or,
Please do.
and to the brother that was talking, I I will agree with you when you say there are narcissists that's around, tricking people and
Yes.
pretty much using people. I 100% agree with you. And when you have black women who think that a man beating them and abusing them is love, that means that narcissist has been toying with her.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. It's
and
called manipulation. You're right.
he, he, yep. And I was listening earlier to knock Messi, um and I agree with him when he said that, you know when he said it's time to stop, blaming black women for the problems that the black men have, because that too is a also, I don't know if anybody knows this, but that too is a sign. It is definitely a sign of manipulation right there as well. And
Well, it's not that black women aren't to blame either, because there's a huge role of blame for black men and women within our culture. And but it isn't their fault. They can be blamed, but it cannot be solely their fault. And it has specifically, not to cut you off, but to add something to what you're saying. Um, if you'll notice, don't take my word for it. I want everybody to try this. The next movie you see where there are a mix of black people and white people and every other culture, and there's a protagonist, he's the star of the movie, or she, and then there's the antagonist who's the enemy, he's probably white too, or some major entity or figure in that regard. When you see them, look at their roles they play. There's subliminal messages happening all the time. Black women in just about every role they play, other than the star, are normally the women who betray the black man or betray the plot in every movie arc, just about, that have black women in it. If she's not a part of the winning team, she's a part of not only the losing team, but the team that betrays not only the white protagonist, but normally her own black people, as well as the narrative of the actual show. Or the black man is always the one who's telling the white guy, who's a great cop out there trying to do his job, you stop it right now. You're getting in our way. You're causing problems down at City Hall. They'll use a black man to do that when they talk to the different people throughout the script of the movie. So you're being inundated all the time with negative images, but now psychological underpinnings of who's always guilty, who's always wrong, who's always the betrayer, who's always the problem. Don't take my word for it. The next movie you see with anybody black in it, watch, ask yourself, who's going to betray the plot? Who's going to backstab the protagonist?
Can I speak to that?
Sure, go ahead.
So I spent 25 years in Los Angeles in an ancillary capacity, meaning fixing in the tech industry, ancillary capacity in the tech industry, fixing script writers' movies. Like, they wrote a script in final draft and they lost the script and I needed to recover the script. I've spent years going to studios, recovering data on Macintosh computers, because that was really hot in LA at the time. I spent years selling printers to script writers. What you're saying is not correct. Whoever is talking about what you see coming out of Hollywood, they really don't give a shit. It's all about the script.
Well, I beg to differ. If you're saying I'm wrong,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, yes, you did.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
You just said exactly I was wrong. You just said exactly, and I said at the beginning of my beginning of my statement, I said, "Don't take my word for this." What I said,
it might have slipped out. It might have slipped out.
It's okay. The repetitive conversation doesn't work. That's an interrogation technique. You don't have to do that.
My bad.
Here's what's going on. It does matter. It absolutely.
Have you ever written a script for Hollywood?
I absolutely have. As a matter of fact, I have 2 of them and a book.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
I don't have to talk to you. I want to finish what I'm saying. I want you to pay attention to what I'm trying to say. And this is what we miss. The reason you don't see it is because most people don't see it because they don't have the years of experience that I have, the education that I have, and the things that I've done in my life to corroborate what I'm telling you. And I pay attention to this in everything. And I'm not even racially phobic about anything at all.
Are you black?
Of course I am. But that's not the point either. You want to make that point. You
have a script in Los Angeles? I just want to ask. I'm just saying.
Brother, you can't do this.
For some context of the conversation.
This is called interruption. You're just trying to check my bona fides. Why don't you go online and look it up, and then we'll go from there.
You have an IMDb?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead.
Do you have an IMDb?
If not, no, I'm not interested in being in Hollywood. I can tell you all about Hollywood because I've been out there many times dealing actual things.
Don't come on now.
No, I don't want to be around antagonists. It's negative. You're an antagonist, and you don't have to.
Part of the script.
You're too smart to be this script. Myopic. Say again.
Part of the script is the antagonist.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, the antagonist is the bad part of the script, by the way.
And, I know, but this is the internet.
Because you were a copier and you printed off scripts and you read them doesn't mean you understood them and you digested them. I did, and I wasn't any kind of copier machine guy. So
you lived in LA,
and I'm going to complete what I have to say here.
Have you lived in LA?
That's not relevant. You know what's relevant? Have you lived in LA?
Yes.
No, I don't mean what you're saying, copy machine. I mean lived in LA. Have you been to the Oscars?
25 years. No, never been to the Oscars. Never got invited.
I've been to the Oscars. Have you been to the Grammys?
Say less. Say less.
I've been to. Have you been?
I just asked. I was only asking.
No, you're gonna call somebody out. Let me call you out. Have you been to?
I was only asking, bro.
No,
don't call me out.
You were trying to interject in a place so you could be rude. That was it. And that's a shame that you have all this information in your head.
I'm not trying to be rude. Come on, man. That's not why you even come up here. Come on now. I'm just asking.
This is your first. Is this the first time on this panel? No. No, it isn't. And people actually tolerate that you speak to them this way.
And I've been flamed before. You're right.
Yeah. Then you should stop because it doesn't help. If you aren't helping, you can keep your mouth quiet. If you're going to help,
I'm seeking though. If I can't help, can I not seek? But hold up, homie. Hold up. This is the internet. This is YouTube.
You're right.
This is Zed's channel.
You were invited to do one thing.
Can I learn?
To participate.
Can I learn?
Hold on a second. You were asked to be on this panel to participate. You weren't asked to be on this panel to just interrupt people arbitrarily because you really haven't made one. I'm not trying to interrupt you.
I'm just trying to learn.
You don't want to learn. If you wanted to learn, you'd stop and listen. That's what people who learn do. They stop, they shut up, and they listen. And then at the end of the conversation, they add to it. They don't take away from it. They don't try to hurt it. They don't try to prop it up. And the one good thing I like about the truth, when people try to call me out on something, I don't defend myself like you tried to do with the brother from Brooklyn. You try to make him defend himself when he said something. And then he tried to make you defend yourself because he responded to you in the same way you responded.
That's my guy, Neck Neezy. We go back and forth.
It doesn't matter if he's your guy. It was still rude. And people see that. And the audience sees that.
I apologize.
And they find you to be reprehensible in this particular case. So let me just say this. So it's okay.
Straight up reprehensible.
Slavery talk. I don't need your permission. I go back to the conversation that we were talking about slavery. I can talk more about my resume that I was trying to interject into that slavery piece so we can get back up to date to where we are. Or I can go off on a tangent and talk more about norm therapy. But what I'd rather do, not your way, I'll just do it my way without interruption. That would be fine. I listen to you guys for hours. And I didn't know. And anytime someone had anything to say to you, they were just trying to help you stay on track, brother. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, get off my train and just watch it pass. Just like everybody else here had their train, let it pass. That's good. When A over here, I don't know what his name is, but when A was talking, I didn't say a word other than I agree with him too. Basically, I switched back to after he agreed with me what I said. And I wanted to give a quick inference to him as well. When he talked about black women have been taught by the culture, and that's why I mentioned the movies and how we're subliminally controlled by movies and commercials and all of that right now. If you'll notice, and once you pay attention to what I did say, without taking away from the value of what I said again, but when you start looking at the roles Black people and women of color and even Hispanic women and white poor men are actually portraying in movies, you'll see that what I'm saying is very accurate. There's a certain arc that goes on oh God, this is ridiculous. Okay, listen.
If I said to you that I don't think you know what Black women are seeking, and I would check your chin on the fact that you know anything about Hollywood scripts. Would that offend you?
I don't think you know what you're talking about on any level. And I wish I could say something nice about that, but I can't. And it's not because you're dumb.
You can say anything to me you wish. It won't hurt my feelings.
It's not because you're dumb. You're not at all dumb. You can fix it.
I am dumb.
No, if you were dumb, you actually smart enough.
That's why I'm here to seek knowledge from you young people. I'm trying to figure out what you're thinking about.
From us young people. So what are you, 70?
Close.
Well, if you're 70 years old, everybody here is, I guess you're trying to put me, in my place because I'm young and I'm just 63, so I'm young. Is that?
I'm just asking, why won't you?
I wish it were sarcasm. It's not
with
even
me
sarcasm.
To help me,
you know what it is?
Understand.
You're taking away from the value and stop talking. Listen.
I should just leave. I can leave if you want me to.
Please go. That would be nice. I'm not trying to kick you off your own show. If this is your show, leave. Absolutely.
Not my show.
Yeah, but then stop talking. And when it's your turn again, and you spoke for several hours, and nobody but the brother with the B on his face, with the Brooklyn on his face, actually dealt with you, and he had to do it 20 times.
It wasn't hours, man. It wasn't
go, bro. You can let it go now. You can let it go. It's not important. You can let it go. It's unimportant. And it's not funny either. And you're
I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
I think you should.
I've been kicked out of nicer places than this.
There's a thing in life.
Dad.
There are 2 things or 3 things that's important to you, brother. And that's not good and bad. It's useful or useless. And you've rendered yourself useless. That's what's more important in life. What's useful and useless. And
I appreciate that insight. That's cool.
You're rendering yourself useless. I could use you as an ally in this conversation if you wanted to.
Hey, right? Norm, quick question or quick statement. Hey, I love the stuff you're talking about. I think it's awesome. I think we're all kind of like basking and listening to this. Just there's a little bit of a critique. Most people do not get as long of a runway that you're getting, but I think you're getting it because the stuff that you're saying has a historical context, and it's really stuff some of us might not have heard before. So that's what I'm just saying in defense of Richard, the guy with the fist. Most of us, we do. It's not. I don't think it's rude to kind of jump in and ask someone a question or jump in and make a little statement every once in a while. But I'll let you go back. And I was going to ask you to put your channel in the back chat, but I think Strictly Travels beat me to it. But yeah, so just don't look at people who slightly interrupt as complete disrespect. That's just this is a panel, and it's not.
I think I was pissed off. Yeah. You're right. I think I was pissed off because he did it to you so many times, and I wanted.
No, we're used to it. We're used to
I
it.
kept
It's-
chatting to Strictly Travel. I don't know
interrupt
why
me
this
because
guy.
I mean you new to this panel, to
Yeah.
those panels.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
if
you're
you
expecting like a TED talk, and you were putting on a great TED talk, but like we talk to each other. It's like barbershop style, you know.
oh, you'd
It's
be
not
Yeah.
surprised. You know,
I'm
it's
a
entertaining
nigga
actually.
from
So yeah,
Chicago too. Say again, Strictly.
no, I mean actually, it's how it is usually. I mean, it's
Okay.
back and forth, back
Well,
and forth.
maybe I overreacted to the
Yeah,
brother.
Richard,
I'll
if you're listening,
apologize.
come back to the panel, man, please.
Yeah, come back to the panel. That's fine. I don't mind.
I think Richard should come back, but let's not act like what happened didn't happen.
I
That is
agree
it.
with you.
And there's a generational aspect to this. I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
Anyone my age and maybe 5 years younger, we understand the importance of not cutting a man in the middle of his sentence to ask a question or to, because it's really it's in bad taste. And the younger generation, yeah, they come up in a different way of communicating, but I get both sides. But there were some points where he was just asking stuff to get the brother off of his square. I recognize that he did it to me a couple times, so we checked it. He apologized, so hopefully we can move on from it. But that's how older brothers don't speak like that. If you cut me off, like I'm a dude from Brooklyn, like I'll be ready to jump down your throat, no diddy, because you're
Absolutely.
cutting my wisdom. We caught it.
Like me, you're talking. I say absolutely. You're right. I agree. That's one kind of interjection that's very welcomed. Or no, I don't agree with that, but I understand. Though I love those interrogatories. I really like that way. But when someone just do the whole what about isms? So what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? Those are called distractions. And people distract you to get you off point so they can make a point that's arbitrary to your point. I also teach a class, well, my company teaches that as well, and how to communicate effectively with one another. And all I did was raise my voice a little bit, not in defense of what I did at all. And I noticed when you were talking, you never defended yourself. You made him defend himself 1,000 times. I watched you do that. And I noticed that's a very effective way to deal with people who antagonize you. But I just want
Brother, I'm sorry to cut you, but I used to do interrogations and interviews, right? So we had something called a stop denial, right? So when I'm interviewing someone, I'm getting them to and no, I'm not a Fed, but I was a manager in a certain industry. When they're about to deny something and I got them on the fence and their body
language.
holding yeah, body language is telling me that they're about to admit to something. And if they start to, I'll stop the denial, which is essentially disruption, and then continue back at them. Look to, there's a whole way of communication. So
Yes.
we see what's going on with the questions in the middle to try to stop his flow. We get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually a real thing that people do. So I think it goes back to having discipline, especially generationally appropriate discipline. We're three black men that are, above 50, so we know how to interact with each other.
We should, but we don't always because we don't always identify. He said he identified himself as a racist, as a self-imposed racist, he said. And I think that that's the wrong way to look at racism. And I think that's why we suffer from it so much. Because racism isn't about the weaker part of the equation. It's about the stronger part. The white culture can only be racist to black people, not the other way around. In order to actually commit an act of racism, you have to have power over the entity by institutional power, governmental power, social power, money power, economic power, land power, some kind of power. Black people as a culture, not individual rich black people, but black people, and especially in the United States, African Americans, don't have that base of power. So it's impossible for us to be racist, but we've bastardized the language to include us in that vernacular of racism. It doesn't exist. So that false understanding we have of racism, like we can actually be racist to white. What can we do to white people as a group? What? Not wear Nikes anymore so they can copy us? Or not make any more great music or be the best athletes or even sometimes the best mathletes, the best students, the best golfers, the best, whenever a black man excels in something that's traditionally for white people, whenever he does that, he looks like an anomaly. He looks like the difference between what white people expect of black people and what black people expect of black people. And then we're regarded as such, like the Michael Jordans or the Tiger Woods or the Serena Williams, or, that excelled in a white sport or white academe or something that that is normally reserved for mainstream world, which Black Americans have never really been involved in on a more than consistent basis. Not that we've never been involved, but just on a consistent basis. No, we haven't. So that's what I was trying to explain to the brother about the history. And we don't know our history. And that's why Africans look at us. And you've been to Africa, haven't you? You've been to Africa, right, B?
Yes.
Okay. You know that it's not that they hate us. They
Right.
hate how we operate within with each other. Like we can dislike each other for no apparent reason. We want to see each other do poorly. We do. We don't. One of the things I love about white people everywhere in the world, you know what they do? They celebrate each other. They celebrate one another every chance they get. They, hey, look at that company. Look at he sold it for $40 million. Hey, look at that. Yay, happy for him. Blah, blah. Whether they're happy or not, amongst themselves, they're celebrating. And we see that. But we don't do the same for ourselves. We'll say, wow, man, they just sold Fubu, the company, for what was it, for us, by us. So they just sold Fubu to I think not Viacom, but one of the companies. I remember when they sold BET, the Black Entertainment Television. They sold that to Viacom, and I remember Bob Johnson doing that. Matter of fact, I've been to Bob Johnson's house a few times in DC. So I'm just saying to you that I remember all these things that happened, but they happen in such microcosms. But they're so exploited and blown up in the media that everybody thinks it's ubiquitous, that it's everywhere, that it's pervasive, it's in all things, and it's not. It's isolated incidents of success, and that are connective, like the Herman Russells in Atlanta, like the Maceo Sloans in North Carolina. Know both of them. Like the Dr. Harry Marshall out in D.C., one of my best friends. All of these people, like my boy Strictly Travel, which I don't, since everybody using these names here, I'm just going to stay with that. If you knew his family, you would lose your mind. You wouldn't even know who you're talking to. You were like, how is this brother on this panel? You have no idea. Trust me. And I'm saying that not from a position of anything other than, let's be clear on something. If we're going to be back, let's be black together. Because I'm all for it. I like how militant you are. You will stop a month. Okay. I'm still a nigga from Chicago. So
I got you.
You would stop a nigga on the street and say, no, hold on, brother, that ain't right. And sometimes you got to get down on that level. But then you'll get up in his face sometimes and you'll articulate your issue. And you named a few things very correctly here on this meeting tonight. And I was kind of impressed. I really was. And I wanted to get into some dialogue. And I was telling my boy here, I was saying, you know what? I really need to get into this panel. So I just went out and came back in. And all of a sudden I was let in. So that was amazing. Nice. So I'll just say this to you. Just to encapsulate, bring everything back around full circle. And I'm sure people, if they're out there listening, that's fine. But the truth, how do you know how many people are listening on this platform? Because I just developed this platform too. Do you find out on YouTube or do you find out on, that's just a point. I've been trying to think about it.
Norm, in the top left corner, there's like a live button in red, and then there's an I button. So there's 19 people listening right now.
Well, for the 19 people who are out there, all I'm trying to do, and I don't like hogging the mic and speaking for so long, but I listened to everybody for a very long time, and I just had so many things to count on to bring everything back into a full perspective, from my perspective. And if it's helpful, if it's something that we can chew on and investigate, study, research, and go, yeah, this brother was right. I didn't know that. Or, yeah, I knew that, but here's some more to it. But let's go back to the 40 acres and a mule. They got the 40 acres. They lost 40 acres. They went to sharecropping. After they finished sharecropping, Jim Crow kicked in. And there was never really a mule. It became a part of the common vernacular or speech back then that in order to till the land that you were just given by President Lincoln, that you had to have a mule to do it. So it became 40 acres and a mule. But the mule was never promised, by the way. Anyway, so you get up into the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, and even into the 50s, and you have Jim Crow. And I think America made the biggest mistake. Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X made the biggest mistake they could possibly have made, although they did the greatest for the nation of Black people in that particular era. And the mistake they made Instead of a platform of desegregation, they should have employed a platform of integration. Because what did they do? In one fell swoop, after the Civil Rights Act was passed, in one fell swoop, they did exactly what they said they would do. They desegregated. They took everything that was black and productive and prosperous, like all of our insurance companies that were in black neighborhoods across the country. They were all of our banks, all of our butcher shops, our barber shops, as you just said. They took all of our everything we had of value in the community, and they offered it money, offered those entities monies to participate in mainstream America, thus leaving the entire black community across the nation gutted of everything of value. Because before the Civil Rights Act, blacks were prohibited from getting loans from the U.S. government or backed by the U.S. government, by every bank. That's where the term redlining come from. They just lined out all of the areas that were black in the country. This is a matter of historical fact. They outlined every single place that was black in America, and they said, from Congress, we cannot allow monies to be flowed into this community through our Federal Reserve nor the local banks, because these areas are considered a bad investment. So black people couldn't get loans from the government before the civil rights. And then when they could get loans, they only qualified people in the black community. It was very systematic what they did to the black community. And they gutted every institution, every major doctor, lawyer, you name the firm, they gutted it. Radio companies, theaters, took them out, put them into mainstream America. And then what did they do? They said from that point forward, once they had done as much damage to the economic structure of the downtrodden and almost destroyed and decimated black community across the nation, after they did that, this is a matter of law. You can read the law on it. They said, we're going to close these borders and we're going to only allow Indians. And I don't mean American Indians. I mean Indians from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bangalore. They're going to only allow Indians to get loans to put into the black community. That's why most of your convenience stores since the 1970s and 60s have Indians and Pakistanis and everybody but black people owning those stores in the community. Everybody owning those stores but us. And they gave that to Indians. So what happened again? Now the black man is hurt twice, because not only do they make money off of you in all those communities and those convenience stores, in those centers that are within a black community replaced by the Indian culture. And this is no slight to them. This was given by white America to the Indians, the Indians didn't take it from anybody. This is where they qualified. They didn't want the Indians in mainstream America, so they put them into underserved America, which was, of course, the black community for the most part across the nation. So now the black man is hurt twice. He's hurt by not being able to have those loans to get those convenience stores to generate that business in its own community. And then he's given the opportunity that same money that's spent in that store is now taken out of the community by the Indians, because they lived in a white community. They only worked in a black community. They lived in a white community in mainstream America, but their loans were in the black community. That's where they make their money. And that's why you have so many slum buildings and all that, because they were paid money to keep it that way. That's how it worked for black people. Now, had they projected a plan of integration, I think black people would be much better off today. But how can we see that? We're talking about a group of black men who did great things. I mean, wonderful things within the black community. They really did, and accomplished a lot. But white America, and the politicians, especially who were racist, at every single turn blocked black people from the gold rush, the land grab when people were moving west, and all that wealth that was built up over generations and generations since the 1910s and 20s, all the way up until today, to include all of slavery from 1700s on forward. All of that accumulated the wealth into the mainstream American and white community mostly. And we've not participated in any of it. So if there's ever any case for reparations, which my whole point was going back to, we have the case. And I want to defer now. We have a great case for reparations just based on our historical understanding. So when people run around talking about, well, I didn't do it to you. Well, maybe you didn't do it to me. But the reason why you can go into a bank and get a loan at 3%, and I go into the same bank for the same house and I get a loan for 19%, that's how you benefit from all of that wealth. Because not only the white privilege that you have, but also the historical understanding that you have the money to qualify for the 3%. We don't. not as a culture. Individually, every now and then, like myself and you and a few other people may have the money, but it's not the norm. By the way, that's what we call it, norm therapy. We're not looking for Michael's normal or Bob's normal or Sam's normal. We're looking for your normal. What would your normal be without the abuse? How can we find a normal for you and put you back on a path of wellness for yourself? So, with all that having to say, that's all I wanted to do was make a point. And I really wanted that antagonistic brother to say something about that, but in the good, bad, and the ugly perspective. Now I defer to you, Brooklyn, because you seem to have the loudest voice here that I'm interested in hearing.
Hello?
You can actually stop talking. Oh, yeah, I'm here. I didn't know. I'll keep talking, but I didn't know we could just stop and just be quiet for a while. That's okay.
Yeah, Knack Measy, I think he was talking to you. If you're still there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was washing dishes. What did you say?
Oh,
I was listening and washing dishes.
See, my mother taught me how to wash dishes too. So there you go. Never be with a man. My mom would just say, never be a man that needs to be with a woman. Just be a man that, of course, can be
Like
one
we
that
see-
doesn't want to be with her. Say
You
again?
wash the dishes? Aren't you married?
Yeah. Yeah, but that don't mean I can't wash dishes and stuff.
Yeah, I'm
What are you saying, Strick? What are you saying,
I'm
Strick?
joking. I'm just joking. I'm just messing with him because
I know.
because Zed, she's actually the owner of the band, if I can say it. She's a feminist, so that's why I was just
Really? Get a
because,
chance to meet her.
yeah, when she's not there, she would have just roast me. She would have been like, "What do you say?"
I'm starting a new podcast, and I'm gonna probably have all of you here on it as a guest, or
No,
several.
but
of you.
it's because that's how I've been killing my time, bro. When I've been listening
I
to
love it.
things, and yeah, so it's quite interesting. You learn a lot, though. You see different perspective and different things, and yeah. So
I don't take offense when people talk poorly about black people. I really don't, because I understand from where they're coming, because what
Yeah.
they see and what they've been taught to see and
But-
conditioned to see.
I have a question compared
bro.
to your. We were in the Congo together with South Africa.
Yeah.
How would you compare the culture as a whole in Africa compared to? I wouldn't say the black culture because everybody is pretty much homogeneous there. The African culture compared to what difference have you noticed while you were there?
Well, we not only have I been there, and I'm just going to clarify, but I've had access to some extremely beautiful women. Yeah, I think Miss Congo out for a while. And a couple
Oh
other people.
yeah. With me, I remember that with Miss Vodacom. Yep. True.
And,
very true.
and I'm not saying I'm the most handsome guy in the world, but I do well, gentlemen. I really do. But I'll say this: dealing with an African woman is different than dealing with an African American woman in many respects. And one of the reasons I was talking about the movies earlier is because black women are being conditioned to go against their own black men by the culture, by the subliminal messages, and by what's due them. When a black man goes through a divorce in the United States, for instance, and the black woman gets everything, they don't just take it from the black man. They take his driver's license. They take his mobility. They take his ability to operate and move and open businesses and to actually produce for their families, because he may be a couple $1,000s short on their child support. They don't necessarily invoke that in white America, even though it's the law pretty much everywhere, but they don't really invoke it. And I've seen that often. They try to displace, again, the black family. It's the same as slavery. And prisons have just replaced the slave owners. That's all it did. They now have prisons for the slaves. So black women looking down on black men in our culture is something that's so rampant, it's not even funny. And because white women mainly gave black women the mantle to say, you're a strong black woman. And that's some Gloria Steinem days when they, how should I say, took over the civil rights movement and turned it into the women's rights movement, is what they did in 1972 and 73. So it became a women's platform, just like just about every other platform black women have ever created to support black men, white women came in on top of them and took their platforms over and made it a white thing, which black women normally never benefited from. But what the educational system did in the United States, every time we have a secretary of education from certain parties, I don't want to get into too many politics now, but I can, and that's one of my favorite conversations, politics. But and I have a group on LinkedIn called the Geopolitics and Strategy, and I have about 6,000 members there, and they're all really not all, but I say about 90% are very savvy about global geopolitics. And one of the things they did with black women during the time that they were ostracizing everybody else from the education system is they always propped up programs for black women to educate themselves. Because there's an old black adage in the black community that says you educate a woman, you educate the family. So the education system went along with that, but they do just like they do with everything else that the government does, is they perverse it at the end. So now black women are more educated than black men by far, more in the education system by far. They're more in the business community and the executive staff level by far. So now women have reversed roles in a lot of ways with men, where men could find a job where they could ascend to executive level. In the past, that's hardly and far in between available today. But black women have been given the not the glass ceiling breaking key like some kind of alarm in the school system, like a fire alarm at the school system. They don't get that, but they get as close to the glass ceiling and even sometimes beyond it more often than black men. So there's this emasculation, not theory, but practice that's occurring with black women and men because women are now seeing themselves above men as a culture. And you look at any one thing a woman could say, and if a man says the same thing, he would be ostracized, demonized, and canceled. A woman says it, and it's okay. Like she says, "I'm gonna go out tonight and get my fuck on," and she's like, "Oh, I'm a woman, I'm with my girls," and woo woo woo. A guy says that he's abusing a woman, he's cheating on his wife, he's a bad guy, and who does he think he is? Same thing, same exact thing, and we've made that happen. Who you about to say something, B?
No, we're just listening. Oh no, that was me.
Yeah, okay. And so, I think that black women, to get back
B
to
is
your
actually his name is Nak Misi.
Nakmis, kind of cool name, NAK.
NAK Nak Misi, yeah.
Okay, Nak. Well, I'll just say this. I'm just I'm of the school that I think what culture, mainstream culture America is teaching black women in the African American culture is that it's okay for them to cross over to the white community and be accepted fully, but not their man. I think the culture is dictating that, and we
But
don't dictate. So
sorry,
again,
didn't mean to interrupt, but you've mentioned something interesting. Actually, Z, she's advocating black women to date white women. I mean, to date black. I mean, no, black women to date white men. She's an advocate of that because
well,
she's saying that because black men don't take care of their black women, and therefore because I don't know if you're familiar with it because
oh yeah,
because
I'm quite familiar. Quite familiar.
the passport bro movement. So she's a passport bro hater. She's actually the main advocate.
Hmm.
She's the woman voice against passport bro.
Wow.
Because passport bro going overseas to find love, and then to find, I mean, not love because they go there to find actually a cheap
Submissive women.
I want to add
exactly
to that.
yeah. So, yeah. Oh yeah, you there, Chris? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I want to add to that, Norm. Part of the reason why she does that is one, as Tricky Travels was saying, like a lot of young men, black men, or just young men. This is across race. They're just running amok because of this Republican alt-right pipeline called the red pill. But the other thing is too, like black men just historically, they're not marrying black women. So it's like she's doing this as a way, in my opinion, for black women to seek other options, because like black women have been race loyal to men who, the least married men, and it just it's not really fair to them.
That's very true, and you're absolutely correct. Now, listen, I agree with everybody's perspective, but there's one thing I want to add to that, if I may. What I've noticed, and I've dated every kind of woman on the planet, especially black women. Oh my God, yes. I love my black women. I've dated them all. I could care less. That doesn't bother me. However, what of all the different kinds of women I've dated, one of the strongest women that I date are Black women. What's not good about it are the influences within the Black female culture in the United States, or African American female culture, is every woman is trying to outdo the other woman on how much she can emasculate, eviscerate, and demonize her man to other women and to other people within the culture. I've watched it consistently over the years. That's not all Black women. I'm not saying that, not even by far. But if the general conversation is out there about how Black men treat women or Black women, or how a Black man, just talk sex for a minute. There's certain things that I know that white women do, Black women will never do. Now, I don't mean all Black women. I just mean the ones that like me or the ones that I like. They will never do. And I like what I like. And if I have to look to another culture to get it, I will. And, if you're going to spend 1/3 of your time or the rest of your life with somebody, you should be at least satisfied for that third of the time. And
Hold on, brother. I'm sorry. I need clarification on what the Black women aren't doing, but the white women are.
I'm not saying that it never happens. I want to make clear this. I'm saying it's very, very seldom that it's consistent. Like back in Special Forces, because everybody wanted to sleep with a Green Beret. I know it sounds kind of misogynistic, but it was the truth. When I went to the Defense Language Institute back in the late 70s out in Monterey, California, when I got there, there were about 2,000 men and 30,000 women training for languages. So 8 months I spent there was a ball. I had a ball. Let's just say any kind of nationality on earth, I had a ball. So to have sampled and dealt with so many different types of people in my life, women, I know what some do and what some don't. And I know the ones who are my color and of my culture, I can kind of pick them out of a crowd who will and who won't. And they're very few. But I like every kind of, with females only, of course, that's just me. I'm a he, him, I think they call it these days, he, him or something. That's who I am.
What is it? Because, are you talking about sloppy toppy? Like, we could talk about it.
No, anything. I mean, I've had orgies. Women love a certain kind of head. I like head. I like great sex. I like anal. I like vaginal. I like everything. I do. I like it all.
All right, brother.
You wanted to draw it out. I mean, let's talk about it. But not all women in the Black community, they look at that like, I have had 30, 40-year-old women say that to me.
All right. I asked for it, so I should have been prepared for the honest answer.
I told you I would be good. Like the way you asked me was different from your boy. You weren't trying to be circumspect. You were just trying to let me get to the bottom of this.
In defense of Black women, I've had Black women that will blow white women out the water sexually.
Yes, I know a few of those too. Trust me. I can tell you a story and it'll make you laugh. I promise you. Back when I was a young buck, just getting in Special Forces, I was 18 years old, graduated from Special Forces. Believe it or not. I go home on leave so I can go back and go to some more schools. I go home on leave, and my girlfriend I won't mention her name, that was in high school, I went back to her, and some brother had turned her out while I was gone. I mean, I thought I knew something. So I get back, and she said, let's meet up. We did a hookup, went to this place down off Cottage Grove in Chicago, if you know Chicago on the South Side. Went to this place, drove in, get into the room. She took off her clothes, and normally it was me on top of her back when we were like in high school, and now she got on top of me. And can I use profanity on this without being too vulgar?
Go for it.
Okay, she fucked me like a pro. I mean, I did not fuck her. She worked me over in everything I've liked from every kind of woman I've ever met in my life. She did everything. I was like the sister, a badass sister. But you know what happened? I was so young. It scared me. It scared the hell out of me. I was like, oh shit. Listen, bro, I'm 18. Come on now. It scared me like, but went away. She was a saint. I come back, she is straight up hoe. This is what I was thinking. And you're 18 years old. You go to combat, but you can't discern a woman yet. You can't even begin to discern a woman at 18 years old. We're totally two different species. She did anything I wanted. And I was like, wow. And so after I left Chicago and went back to my duty station and went on to other schools and all that. Matter of fact, I went to Ranger School after that. But she taught me something very important. She taught me exactly what you're advocating, saying that Black women can do it. They can kill it better than. I think she's in the top 1 or 2 women I've ever been in with in my life till this very day. It scared me that much. It shocked me because she left one way and I knew how it was and I was looking forward to it. And then when she finished with me, I was laying there and I looked like a frightened puppy. I remember. I'll never forget that experience. But it taught me so much about, underestimating women. But what I've heard also, I was one of my girlfriends was a model in with Elite and modeling agency and another one. She was with 2 modeling agencies back in the 90s. And her friends is Eddie Murphy's wife, Nicole. Her friends were.
Oh, you talk about that one? Yeah.
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. And she said something to me because I met all of her girlfriends. What's a Miss America black chick name? She was there too. Back in the day, what was her name? Real pretty girl. Miss America was there too, a sister with them. And they were all talking, sitting around. They're in their 50s now. Now they were like 20 something years old back then. They said, Michael, we were all having a conversation about you the other day. They said, you're the only brother that all of us consistently said that there's no way this brother could be down low. Every other guy they all dated said, yeah, he could possibly be gay. He could possibly, nothing is wrong with gay people, but I'm just not into any of that. That doesn't float my boat. And I asked her, I said, why do you all think that I could not be gay? She said, Michael, she told me, you could put on a dress, walk down the street with a dress and makeup on, and nobody will think you're gay. And I said, okay, so I appreciated that. But what she was actually coming from is she said that I always carry myself like a gentleman and a man. And I was never a coward, and I never wanted not to protect her. So whether they're black or, I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, I want to address something. Someone
Sure.
said that Danny Boy, I feel like this guy is full of ish and was astronomical caper. And once it was Trump there too with his first wife. Listen, I personally know this guy.
Yes.
And we've shared lots of stories. I've known the guy for over 20 years. And believe me, everything is truthful. And let me tell you something. When I first met him, I thought he was full of it as well.
He is. He is. We met him down at his building across from the United Nations.
I thought he was full of it. Then I realized, man. It's, he can choose some receipts.
He did not want us in his building, remember?
Yep.
He did not want us in it, but
yep.
He was a big racist, this guy.
Yeah, we know that. So,
I know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, because we all go by nickname here,
mm-hmm.
by artistical, but yeah.
I know, bro. I know. Those are some good times. We had good times in New York back then. Wow.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, good old days.
Oh,
old now. Not misses my age,
Yeah, y'all. And I'll say it, but I say it from a diminutive point of view, and that is that you guys are young bucks. I remember when I was 50. That's 13 years ago. And time goes. It seems like the older you get, the faster time goes because you know things and you see it coming.
Bro, I can't believe I can't believe I'm 50.
Neither can I.
I remember when I met you was 26, 27?
Yeah, you were in the mid-20s. If you've been to our building where we lived in Atlanta back in those days, I was on the second floor. You were on the third?
Chris live in Atlanta. Chris, you live in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. We used to live in Buckhead. On you know where Le Chateau is on Lenox Road?
Yeah.
Le Chateau.
Le Chateau. We used to live in the early 2000s. Yep.
Yeah. We had
People Bryson.
Yeah, people
Bryson, Damon Sotomayor, Wilkins. Who else? I can't remember. That was
Dominic Wilkins. Yeah, Dominic lived in the building. Michael Tucker lived there.
Guess what? The other day I was on a live, and then there's a guy. He said, "I know your voice." Remember, it's Atlanta, Georgia, and he told us an incident that we were in the limousine, and then they cut over. They were an Astro fan, and you had a little fight with them. I can't,
I did.
Yep, the guy told me the story exactly how it was. He said, and then I'm like, wow, it's you remember things clear. Imagine through my voice, I know that voice, and then
Mhm. Wow.
yes,
I had
yep,
I had an argument with them or a fight or something. Me?
yeah. We were going. Remember the Russian chick, Uli and
Oh
them?
yeah, the two Russians. Oh yes, I remember them.
Yeah. It was that same moment we went to drop them off, and then they followed us. It was some nonsense like this. I don't even remember. They had like we had the little thing, like I remember it clearly. I cannot, it was like, do I get bits and pieces? Like I had it. I mean, he had it was like crystal clear. And that was on the panel. I met the guy. He said, just I know that voice, were you that African dude? They were like, which one you talking about? Like,
I can't even remember this incident to
neither
save
do
my
I,
life.
but now I got bits and pieces. I know because the dude was talking like I'm like, the guys
Yeah,
is
we lived in that limo as often as
yeah,
we could.
yeah.
We were always partying in that thing.
Yeah,
Get out
those
of
are
here.
good old days. Yeah,
Those were some good times. We had a lot of parties, a lot of
man.
fun.
Now we retire.
Yeah, I know. It's not that I'm tired.
No,
Retired is
no
good, but
retirement.
I'm not tired.
Me personally, I just don't have time for that anymore.
Bruh, it's so simple. Yeah, I know it's when you're young, you act like you're missing something. When you get older, you realize you're not missing anything. And
Yeah,
so,
remember I was going 100, 200 miles per hour. It was just crazy. Then I had to slow it down. Yeah, but those parts are interesting because there's. I mean, I'll tell you about it later on.
yeah.
Of battle. Yeah, there's some other interesting part where you should participate. I mean, you laugh about it. I mean, it's entertaining. Time just go
Right,
by.
right, right.
When
I
I have my
understand.
free time, I get on those panel, and talk and listen, and it's quite interesting.
Mhm.
Sometimes some interesting topics, sometimes topic go off the rail, off the railing, then it becomes you know, yeah. So sometimes it's serious, it's good. Yeah,
But getting back to Africa, though, I tell you, if I think a few countries got together and normalized the currency, which they're trying to do now, I think that's going to make a big difference with what's coming up in the economic,
yep.
not only economic forums around the world, but also the economies around the world. I think it's
Eh,
going to have a great
You're right.
effect over the next few years.
Remember when in the Congo, when we were trying to set up, we set up the company. We met this dude at the minister of I can't remember
And
who.
and he can move diamonds anywhere. That guy,
No, we met him. We went to with Eve. We went to do the company setup in the chief.
right, right,
Remember,
right.
we
Yes,
met
I
this
remember.
young dude that was the chief of this whole thing, right?
Hmm. I
Yeah,
remember
now
him. That
he's
was
a
your
director.
boy.
He's a director of cabinet now.
Get out of here. Now
Yep.
I definitely got to go back and see him. Oh,
Yeah. That was just
but
parentheses. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Go ahead.
messed me up. You messed me up one day, bro. When we had to extend our visas, remember?
What
Brothers,
happened?
y'all got to hear this story. This boy, Strictly Travel, was very powerful there. We we go to the place and say we need to extend our visa because we're going to stay a little longer in the Congo, and that's one of the hardest places to get into in the world. The Congo, it's hard. It's not easy. And his boy just comes out. You think he's a regular dude, and he runs the whole show for all of that part of the entire government. Him and one other guy runs everything. They cleared our visas in a couple seconds, and we were out of there. And I looked at my boy Strictly, and I said, "What? You had this the whole time, and yet we went through all this other crap." And he did it for a reason, and it blew my mind. He said, "No, I can do things on my own. I don't call in favors unless I need them." And I like that a lot. And it's like,
Can I
We
speak to that briefly?
sure.
Oh,
sure.
one statement before you go, Richard. At some point, Norm, I'd love for you to talk about the destruction of the Black family. If you could detail that and document that.
I would love to do that for you. I would love to do that because that's one of the
All right.
things we talk about. Go ahead, brother. Welcome back, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I think that there is a Black Man Forum
Oh
bubbling
yeah.
up in this community. Hold up, road boy. Bubbling up in this community that I'll invite you to my crib, or somebody can pick it up, Chris. Out, and we can invite the sisters, and then we can do like buy me a glass of wine, buy me a cup of coffee on a please hear me, please hear me, an international forum. Everybody can put their little cash apps up during the, marathon, a 24-hour piece. Everybody can invite their friends up. Your Razor Raises,
Yeah.
your Austin Allemans. We could do something up in this piece. Come on, stop playing. We
No, we
can
can.
actually,
Definitely we
like,
can. I think that's a
bro,
great idea.
24 hours, one day, one freaking day, and it ain't but about 6 or 7 of us up here. We can split that money up, and everybody can eat. What's up, yo? I'm just asking. I'll challenge all of that nonsense you're talking about with the idea that you can leave the ADOS woman and benefit. No, you can't. So, but we could actually do like some major, like a 48-hour event, and everybody can get like a piece of that and talk a smack. Can we do that? Can we do a Black Man Forum, Zed? Do we need to use your channel? I got some party spots. I ain't talking about Patia. I'm talking about on the internet. I got the Black Wire on YouTube. I got America Talk Live on YouTube. I just launched a new channel on YouTube. How do we fix it all? That's why I came back up here. Because I hear y'all still out here in these scrapes. How do we fix this, man? How do we get Black to love? Go Black to Africa. Have any of y'all heard of his channel? That brother's spitting science about Africa. And
That guy's an idiot.
yeah, I know. So am I. Because we're still trying to figure out travel. I'm idiotic. I'll own that, bruh. I really will. If you know something about Thailand more than me, school me. Let me know. I'm sitting here trying to figure out that by the time November rolls around, how do I re-up my visa out here? It's about travel. And Zed travels. Zed's from Ethiopia living in San Diego. You know how difficult that is? It's way more difficult for her than it is for me to live in Thailand. Rishi
think so?
Mack kind of working on some concepts. Chalk is talking what he talked. How do we teach our ADOS family about just getting off leaving the scene of the crime? Please allow me. Get off the plantation, if that's what you want to call it. Leave the matrix. It wasn't that matrix to me. I figured it out. How do we kind of spread the message that, there's a big blue marble out here? How do we convince the African ADOS diaspora to just take a step off the country for a minute? Not to Jamaica, not to the DR, not to Colombia. Okay, go somewhere. If that's where it starts, do that. But how do we kind of, because I'm going to tell you something about Zed and her people. They travel. They learn different languages, young brothers. They are diasporic. We are not. Not that that's a bad thing for us, because we're diasporic in the hood. We really are. I mean, our like microcosmic diaspora is deeper than the entire continent of Africa. We are the hope and dreams of the slave. Maya Angelou said that. We are the hope and dreams of the slave. Thought about that real hard. Like, damn, really? Y'all put that on my back? Okay. I am the original man. And as the original man, the whole earth is mine. I sent Zed a poem from Nikki Giovanni. I hope you heard it, Zed. Deep bars from a sister from the 70s talking about how global we are. We are the globe. We are the entire Black, white, Asian, Latino diaspora. We are original. So let's get over this. Oh, you in Thailand. Oh, you out there for this. Let's get over this. Oh, you're traveling. You're a passport, bro. How about, and I'm only talking to my people, ADOS. My people said, sorry. My people. How about you just get off, leave the scene of the crime? Start with that.
No.
How about you just go somewhere and do something?
I think only Chris is in the state in this panel, right?
I don't know. Maybe Alexander Knack. Where are you at?
I'm
in
still
Europe. I'm in Europe, but I get money out here, and I'm
I
back
know.
in America every anytime I want. I was just overseas 5 days ago. But let me ask the brother Richard a question.
And so what? And so what?
Wait, who's the original man?
How does that impact?
Wait, who's the original man, Richard?
Hey, one second before we go to that.
Who asked me that? Hold on.
Not.
Hold on.
The ridiculosity. I need to address the ridiculosity of that question.
Richard,
if I can.
1 second.
Okay.
Alexander, where do you live at?
I'm still here in the United States.
Okay, yeah. So it's me and you.
Okay.
That's my guy. That's my
I'm
guy.
in Dubai.
Yeah.
Yep. Norm in Dubai. Okay, I'm actually in Singapore. Not is in. Okay, everybody's out. Yeah. Okay.
Does anyone want to know where I'm at? I think I've made that clear.
Yeah, you're in Pattaya. So
Thank
who's
you
the
very
original
much.
man?
In
Who's the
Pattaya.
original man?
At the strip right now, but the strip in Pattaya. So
Who's asking me that? I can't
Not
tell.
easy.
So. Nah, word. Us.
Nah, but break it down. Break it down.
The Asiatic black man.
The maker.
And ruler.
Yeah, all right. Say less.
All right. Hey, dude, that's why I'm so honored to connect with you. Hey, Zed probably has the most live listeners. I see a 7 in my little window. I'm so honored. Hey, Nat, real talk. As an older man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm talking about me. I'm so honored to be on a panel with you.
I appreciate you, brother.
And I ain't blowing smoke. We could do that in Pattaya with a blunt off my patio, looking at the Pattaya Tower. We could waste time doing that, but on some real talk.
Well, it's I've never been to
So I want to say this one last thing. I'm not going to leave. I'll be here, but some of you who are on this panel don't understand the absolute divine pleasure it is to experience being overseas. Nat, talk to him for me. Being outside the country. Nat, talk to him for me. Being off the plantation, out the matrix. I like to call it the scene of the crime because some bad things happened to my people there. My mom and dad, stuff like that. I'm not going to bore you guys with all that old historical boom-a-clot shit. But, Nat, talk to him for me, man. What it's like. I mean, you're not even a veteran. You're not even a soldier. You actually like traveled, bruh. You got that experience. Some of them, these folks on this live, do that on a natural.
Well, wait a minute. Who are you referring to? I want to clarify. Who are you referring to? Not been anywhere, because I know between Strictly and I together, we've probably been to 140 other countries.
Are you African? Are you ADOS though?
Excuse me. What did you ask me?
Are you ADOS?
You keep saying ADOS like you're talking about the old operating system. What do you mean ADOS?
Okay, so you don't go there with me about operating systems, kid, because I
No,
come from
no, don't call me
a
kid
tech
again. I
background.
appreciate that. Don't call me kid.
Yeah,
Listen, I tell you what
foundationally.
I am saying is, if you're inferring,
So, are you white?
I've lived in
When you
22
say that,
countries.
wait,
That's
are
just a
you
fact.
white?
Hey,
Are you
hold
white?
on,
Not.
hold
No.
on, real quick.
But are you? Are you
Hey,
white?
hold on,
No, I'm not.
guys. Hey,
Okay,
Rich.
then chill,
Rich.
My bad.
relax. We're
All
all
right, my
black
bad.
here.
Hey,
But
Rich,
anyway,
My bad.
I've been
Okay.
to over 80 countries and I've lived in 22.
Hey, Norm.
So this is not new to me. So when you
Norm.
say that, it's kind of a slight. Why do you come back like
Well, I say that because so many of us, brother, are
But don't
just
say this
starting to
panel,
get
just
our
say so many of us.
passport.
I agree with you. I
All
agree.
right, so many of us
Travel.
are just starting to get our passports, are just starting to travel, and just starting to come into the realization that wow, there's a whole world outside of the hood.
Yes, it's very true. But I've
That's
had,
my
just as you
that's all
say,
I'm
these
saying.
people on this panel, we've had like Americans, we have the blue passport. Well, I'm an American who's actually had a black passport before as well. So I understand travel more than most people on this planet will ever understand it.
But we
And
don't, bro.
what am
You
I for
understand?
life with the Marriott strictly? What am
But
I?
but I just want to say,
You platinum, right? Or
I
ambassador
I'm a
now.
platinum for life. I've lived in more hotels than I've lived in homes in my
I
life.
just want to say, man, so many of us have not had that experience.
I know, but you can't say the panel because you're denigrating us. You denigrate us.
That is not the intent. It is me
But
speaking
good
from.
intentions, poor judgment. I think.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
intentions, poor
Right.
judgment.
Word. Say that.
You
Say
know,
that. Say that. My bad.
But it's
I'm
okay.
not
We
that.
all make those
I'm not that
mistakes.
smart. I'm not that smart. I'm kind of dumb.
You're not that dumb either. You're not that dumb either. You know, there's a paper you should read though. It'll help you a lot. It's called Durning-Kruger. If you actually can look it up and read it, it'll explain to you what's actually in exchange here tonight. It's when people think that they're or they play dumb. They're actually very smart, and people who play smart are actually very dumb. And it's only because we have biases within us that prohibit us from seeing ourselves with clarity. That's all. And these biases
I
are
do.
inherent.
I
Right.
do.
And so you do that. You don't have to do that in this panel because what people want, and I think in the audience, they want raw, clear truth that they can go to Google or what's that other crap they got? Artificial intelligence right now and say, hey, is that accurate? And get a real assessment in real time and know that they're
And
on
are
the
you
right path.
suggesting that I don't do that? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, when you say things like people on this panel don't know anything about travel, they don't know this, they don't know that, and that's not true. And I know at least two people, maybe three, maybe four, because everybody's in different places that do know that. So you would have to
I
be talking
don't
about
think
food.
that I said that people on the panel.
Yes, you
It's
exactly
people
said that.
outside the panel. I might have, if I said that,
You said on the panel. That's why I stopped you. That's why I stopped you and clarified.
I said that word.
Yes.
Yes, I had a couple of
I'm just
Leos.
being nice.
Yo, why don't y'all just shoot the head up, shoot the fade in the debate, find a point of contention so we can see who's, because there's this little dance going on with my two older brothers right now. I see.
I'm not trying to win.
I know you're not trying. I know I'm not placing blame on anyone, but the fact
It's
is,
a dance. It's a dance.
right.
Footwork.
So let's stop
I
dancing.
don't like dancing. But I like the birds
Let's shoot the debate. Come on.
I don't know if that's gonna be good content.
Well, here's the debate. When it comes to travel,
But the dance is not a good debate either. You know what I'm saying? It's not good content either.
Well, let's have the debate.
Right. So look, let me ask you a question, brother.
Go ahead.
With the I. I'm sorry. What's your name, brother?
It's Norm. You want to call me Norm?
Norm. All right.
Their aliases.
And great website, by the way. Great website, by the way. I was looking at it. That's why I was quiet. I was going.
Well, go to my nonprofit. I have a nonprofit. Go to Go Arrow. GOARO.
They're both listed as links from your YouTube account. So I'm gonna check the other one afterwards.
Yeah, I have. It's amazing. We do some amazing work. About 100 employees and volunteers around the world. I've had up to 250, but we just had a bunch of people doing nothing, so we whittled it down to about 100. We have Norm therapists on every continent, and we're killing it. I'm about to take the company public in about a year, and we're doing some amazing stuff around the world. And we don't compete with mental health care space, by the way, although we have doctors, medical doctors, we have psychiatrists, psychologists, sociologists, we have counselors, we have psychotherapists. who have been trained as norm therapists on staff with us right now. We have every walk of life, entrepreneurs, geneticists, and they love it. They're saying we're the missing link. Because just like I'm, messing around with, I don't know the brother's name with the fist, but just like I've been messing around with him tonight, just going back and forth and kick. I'm sorry?
It's Richard, right?
Richard? Okay, just like Richard, there's a certain...
We call him Red Bone Richard on this side.
Okay.
But Red Bone
I'm Red Bone now.
Got it, Red Bone. I don't call the guy Red Bone.
Where that? I'm Red Bone now.
Hey,
You Red Bone. Stop playing.
hey guys,
Stop playing with me. You a Red Bone too.
One
I'm
second,
gonna go with Rich because Red Bone is.
Yeah, I know. That's very good.
guys,
You can call me X-Pac Rich.
I'm old school.
Hey guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be back in maybe a couple hours. I'm about to go nap, go take a sleep, go to sleep, man. I gotta catch a flight like midday, so y'all just be easy. I'll be back in maybe a couple hours.
Yo, Chris, you going to Pattaya?
Hell no.
Hey, I love naps in Pattaya. I'm
He's
gonna tell
going
you
to
something about naps in Pattaya.
It's going
Oh,
to Susua.
even worse than Pattaya.
I'm traveling domestic.
Naps in Pattaya are very beautiful.
I'm
All right, brother.
traveling-
We'll make sure that we don't do anything to jeopardize the channel while you're resting.
Facts.
Oh,
Godspeed.
So we got it, brother.
Pleasure meeting you, brother.
yeah.
All right.
Have a good
Back
rest.
on the panel, Norm.
Godspeed.
All right, brother.
All right.
I would love to. So if you guys invite me, I'll show up. Believe me, I'm that kind of brother.
Yeah, we'll.
Here's what I like about the antagonist on this show tonight, and it's of course Rich. But the thing I like about it, it grants two perspectives. It does. It really does. And I think you broke that down well, Brooklyn. You really did. You broke it down, Neck, in a way that was not insulting, even though the interruptions are quite insulting, but they're not to the point where we should be hurting one another as a result.
I
Glad you brought the
apologize.
brother back on. No, you don't have to apologize, because I apologize to you first, and I wanted you to receive mine because I was the one telling you to leave, and that's not my place.
Did you say that? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I did. You said I want to leave. I said go ahead and leave many times. Maybe you didn't.
Get out.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been kicked out of better places than this. Trust me.
Richard,
Yo, Rich, you been sipping tonight, brother?
I think so. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it. I didn't want to say it, but I said I gotta ask later on.
I've had some Leos.
All right.
You know what it is in Thailand? I've had some Leos.
Chile Hotel.
You know what Leos are. But
yeah, I
I'm
don't.
clear.
I've never drank in my life, but I know what they
That's
are. It's
fine.
like
But I'm
beer.
clearing my consciousness, brother. I really am.
Okay.
And like Edgar Allan Poe, in his genius, he found that genius in that altered state. And I'm not drunk. I'm not unconscious. I am speaking to you from my conscience. And the fact is that when I have a couple of Leos, like Razor Rays, I can open my mind up and speak to y'all. Doesn't take that. You might not like me if I'm speaking raw, but the fact of the matter is, we have a forum here. We have a forum. There's some brothers up here. This is Zed's channel. Keep Africa passport bros free. What the heck is that? Don't date black men. What the heck is that? I'm black. We have a forum, and if we can apologize to our women, our ADOS women, through this forum, well, then yeah, I'm gonna come up and talk my talk.
But Richard, Norm would like to know what ADOS is.
That was my next question, brother Norm. Are you a
Yeah.
Black American?
Of course I am.
100%.
So your people go down to the south. Okay, so yeah, that's what the brother meant by ADOS, which is
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's a new vernacular within our culture,
exactly. Yeah,
but I don't subscribe to a lot of that vernacular. I think that what it
I
does
What do you
is-
call yourself then? Black or what?
I'm an African American. Period.
Not an American African?
No, I'm an African American. My origins are from Morocco, bro. My ancestors are from Morocco who came to the U.S. Free people. Now they married a whole bunch of niggas from the States, but they definitely come from Africa.
Hold up. Would you say?
They married a lot of niggas from the States.
Well, run that back.
Huh?
You're Moroccan.
No, I'm
and you
not
said
Moroccan.
the
I
N
said my
word.
ancestors.
Hold on, rude boy.
You need to learn how to
You're
listen. Learn to
Moroccan and use the
listen.
N word. Hold on,
Listen.
rude boy.
Listen. I'm blacker than you'll ever be, by the way. Just because the skin color of someone is supposed to be black, indicative of the myths and the tropes you believe in, is not true. A wide variety of Africans in the world are white, are very fair skinned, not just the dark brothers, but a large swath. So to take it away from black men in America who happen to be light skinned, like they're not black enough, makes no sense. It does not make any sense. And
All
of
right,
course,
so
yeah, and of course, I can call a motherfucking nigga just like you can. You know why? Because I
that
didn't grow
hurts.
up. Some guy wrote in here
That
that
hurts,
somebody's
man.
privileged.
That
Somebody
hurts.
wrote in here. That's good. You should hear it. I want you to hear it. That's why I said
It
it.
hurts. That hurts.
Well, it should hurt you if you don't identify with yourself. Because I grew up in the hood of Chicago. When my great civil rights family and making all that money, I wasn't a part of that part of it. I didn't make the money. My mother and father
But my
divorced
brother,
when I
they
was,
didn't allow
hold
you.
on. My mother and father divorced when I was young. We moved from a 16-room home, privileged, like somebody wrote, to the projects. Period. Where we
But they
fought
didn't
every
allow
single
you to
day
use
in
that
Chicago.
N word.
Second.
They didn't allow you to use that N word, did they?
Of course
I'm
they
curious.
did. I mean, who's gonna allow me? We mean allow. I'm black. I can use it. You don't
Your
give me
parents?
my identity. Think about it. You don't give me my identity. You don't give anybody their identity. You are self-imposed racist, you said. That's what you just said. So that's your thing.
All right. So I'm glad you brought that up.
That's
That's a
your
good
thing.
pivot. So
No, I'm
now
not pivoting. You just said you were a self-imposed racist. That you
I
consider
wanted to
yourself a
pivot
black
with
racist.
I wanted
That's
to
what you
pivot
said.
with
These are your words.
wanted to pivot.
Okay, go
I
ahead and
wanted to
pivot.
pivot with my ADOS brother. I am a little bit
African American
racist.
brother. Say again?
Yeah. I'm a little bit racist.
Adolf. I'm African American.
I'm racist.
That's good
Yeah.
for you.
I
That's also
am
false
a
consensus.
racist. I'm a racist, like a person who dedicates himself to the piano is a pianist. I'm a racist, like a person who dedicates themselves to the violin is a violinist. Let me.
What does it have
finish.
to do with what? Okay, do me a favor.
I know that's
what you're talking about,
confusing.
'cause I'm not familiar with what you're saying.
I
What
know.
is a racist to you? Tell me. Give me the definition of a racist. Please tell me.
Self and kind.
No, that's not the definition of a racist. Not at all.
Well, you asked me my definition. I'm giving you my definition. Self and kind.
See, that's just a play on words, brother.
I get it.
A racist is
It
characterized.
sounds slick.
No, but a racist isn't that. Let's not bullshit each other. The racist
Well,
isn't
I don't think
characterized
you
by
know
that.
what racism
It's
is.
no,
You sound
racism.
foreign.
Racist is characterized by showing prejudice, discrimination, antagonism against any person or people on the basis of their membership of a color or some other trivial thing. You know how simple it is to be a racist? That's why I think most racists are simple-minded. You know why? Why they're simple-minded? Because all you have to do is look at me and not like me. You just take one corner of the eye looking at me as a white person and say, I don't like him because he's black. That's all it takes to take anything else. So to be a racist makes you very simple-minded. Don't you think?
But I'm him. You're right. I am. I'm simple-minded.
So you're a simple-minded man who believes that you're racist and you practice that. See,
I'm single-minded. I'm single-minded.
No, you're not single-minded. You have a single thought. Single-minded comes from being focused, not what
I'll
you're
follow
doing
you.
isn't focused.
I'll follow you down that rabbit hole.
That's not a rabbit hole. That's in the light, brother. This is how it is. That's the Webster dictionary definition of racism or racism.
Okay. Yeah. I'm single-minded. Wherever you find me, I prefer self and kind. Wherever you find me, even out here.
Yeah, but kind has nothing to do with racism. That's more of a characteristic to be kind. Racist is a ideology. It's a form of thought and process. And
can you explain to me?
It's a form of oppression.
Can you explain to me, in my racism, why I should change?
I can't explain your racism. That's why I asked you.
You cannot explain. Let me get in here because this is getting a little contempt. This is
hey, but we need this drama for
Wait, but hold on.
I'm
You
really
know,
trying to
we
figure
don't
out
need
what's
drama
Hey,
just for the sake of drama.
guys,
I really want understanding.
We need this drama for that channel.
I
guys,
want some
drama.
understanding. When you
I
call
like being
yourself a
clear.
racist, who is your racism? What group is your
Yeah, what are your
racism
thoughts?
targeted to?
White people.
Okay. Now,
Okay,
okay,
I'm
go on,
sorry.
brother.
Forgive me, B.
No, go on, brother. Go.
Okay, forgive me, B. The reason I'm saying, and you have to look at from a historical point of view, I'm not going to go back over all that, but you cannot, it is impossible for you to be a racist because you cannot affect
I don't
change,
have power.
or you got to listen. If you don't listen, then why should we talk? Right? You just said all that. I listened to you, and that's why I'm interjecting now to speak. I've been asked for permission in an excusatory manner from NAC, forgive me, that I can interject what I'm about to say. So just give me an opportunity. In order to be a racist, you have to be in power. You have to be the dominant culture. Somebody wrote the tribalist leader over here. You have to be that in the tribe because racism is only performed and carried out on the lesser of the people of that culture. That's how racism works. Now you can hate white people or hate the understanding that white people exist with you, but you cannot be a racist until you can affect change and power, and you can change a person's destiny. You can send them to prison. You can kill their economic opportunity as a culture or a legal system. That's why they call it apartheid in South Africa, because it could be orchestrated against the indigenous Black Africans there in South Africa. That form of apartheid or disenfranchisement from society and or the economics and or their own culture and land as a colony or as a overthrown colony. So all I'm saying to you, when a Black man says he's racist, I don't care if he thinks that or not. That's great, but he's wrong. And that's what white people have wanted us to believe. And I don't mean all white people, but the white people who've been able to affect our lives and destroy it. They've always wanted us to believe that we could also be racist and give us a false sense of identity when we're dealing with other people. And we have no control, we have no power, we have no possible way to infect or affect what they're doing at all, not as a culture. That's
So
why
when
when you say you're that, I want to know, are you white?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
When James Brown put out the song, I'm going to reference this very frequently on these panels.
Mm-hmm.
Here it said, "I'm Black and I'm proud."
But you know where that
Was
came
that
from?
not?
Do you know the origins of that? Do you really want to know where that came from?
Okay, school me.
Back then in the 60s, it was first thought out during the Malcolm X, after Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King are now dead, post their deaths, the U.S. government was trying their best to quell and calm the white people. And the ugliness, Muhammad Ali became one of the biggest activists in the country for the Black movement in America at the time. And he was in a conversation, and also the president at the time, it was Lyndon B, not Lyndon B, but it was Lyndon B, because he had when Kennedy died.
LBJ.
Right, LBJ. And he talked to, and he wanted to calm the riots and all of that. And it didn't really come out until the early 70s. When did I'm Black and I'm Proud come on? I'm trying to get the timeline straight. But in a conversation with Muhammad Ali, the president, and himself, Black people need to start to feel good about themselves because we were considered ugly. As you first heard the trope that Black means negative. Black means the black sheep of the family, the black eye, the Black Panthers, the Black this, the Black that was all ugly and mean and bad, and that was the whole talk of the streets then. And so James Brown countered that with, hold on a second, you damn right I'm Black, but I'm proud of it. I'm Black and I'm proud, and that's how that song came to be. And that's the truth. And I heard that from James Brown's mouth.
Even a little light-skinned guy like me heard that message.
Of course you did.
Resonated with it, understanding the diaspora of the African descendants of slaves. I connected to that. And, we didn't used to call ourselves Black. So
yes, we have. Yes, we did. Absolutely. We've called ourselves two things in the history of our country until this very day. And now that's why I promote African American. We call ourselves Negroes and Black. We've called ourselves nothing. Have you ever heard of the Blue Vein Society?
The Blue Rain?
Blue Vein Society. Have you ever heard of it?
In a song from
No, not a song. The Blue Vein Society,
no.
if I may, I'll share. I love listening to people with a great deal of wisdom and historical fact under their belts. And I learned this when I was a kid. So, that's over 60 years old or right about that time. The Blue Vein Society was a group of Black people who hated themselves so much that they wanted to ostracize other people who were Black from being in the group. And the way they did it is you turned over your wrist to the palms up and you looked down at it. And if you could see the veins in your wrist, you could join the club. If you couldn't see,
I want to challenge you.
You don't have to challenge me. This is a part of a historical fact. I'm just trying to explain to you what it is. Let me just explain to you what it is. Not that I advocate for it or against it, but I want you to understand that there's a point I'm trying to make. So we have been taught, Black people, light-skinned and dark-skinned Black people of America, we have been taught to hate each other. The old field nigger and house nigger conversation. House nigga thought he was so good that he could never be a field nigger. And the field nigga thought he worked so hard he could never respect the house nigger. And he could take the beating and the house nigger couldn't. So there was a societal understanding from the very beginning of enslavement in America that Black people should hate one another in order to control Black people. If Black people hate one another, they will tell on each other, they will hurt each other, they will kill each other, they'll do whatever they can to get white man's favor. That's a part of the psychological terror that was inflicted upon Blacks and slaves and and Negroes during all of this time frame. Now, affectionately, sure, go ahead.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
Do you believe in the Willie Lynch letter?
Willie Lynch, you're trying to call me out. See if I know my. And
You're smart, bro. You're sharp. I'm gonna give it to you.
What you do, that's not.
I am drawing you out. I am. Go ahead.
And it's okay. Let's stay on point, and I'll get to that. I promise. But
I want to get into this convo too, man. Y'all going back.
I want you to listen to this one point, and this is why we can't listen to each other. This is why we talk over each other. This is why we insult each other. This is why we have subliminal messages between us. This is why the movie
ends here today.
Bad guy all the time is because it has been ingrained in everything that's happened to us since the beginning of our culture in the United States, or in the colonies as it was back then, on through the United States. It's just how.
How about that ends here today?
The who?
How about that ends here today?
No, it can't end. It'll never end. So long as we're talking over one another, as we've been doing since inception, it'll never end. It'll always be cyclical, and it'll keep going around and around and around until we stop it. You can't say, let's end it. You have to do it. You have to just stop. So every time you try to take me off point or pivot, because that's a technique you're using that I use all the time with people, but I choose not to, retort this particular time. But I'm saying to you, every time you do it, you're proving the point that I'm trying to make, between not that you're a house nigger or a field nigger or me either, but that's the mentality that we have adopted with one another. That's why we don't get along. We don't get along because we don't like each other. We don't get along because we don't identify with each other.
Well, let me make this clear. I like you.
No, it's like okay to placate me from every now and then, but let's not placate.
I like Mac Measy. Yeah. I like Rai Rai.
Yeah,
I like.
That's fine, but that's not good enough. Life is never good enough, and it never will be good enough. What's good is respect. When you say, forget love. Love means shit unless you respect that person. If you don't respect that person, that's nothing that comes out of your mouth that matters. Nothing. So if you respect me,
feel that way,
and I respect you, then we can have meaningful dialogue. But if you don't respect me, and you just interjects and talk over, and you want to lose people's interests, and what I'm saying,
I apologize for that.
More important. No, I'm just calling it out like I see it. I'm not being antagonistic. I'm a very direct and bluntly honest person.
I just got stuff to say, and I want to say it too.
I know, but then I will listen to you.
My bad.
I listen to you for hours, brother. hours. I listened to you. Now I'm talking. Let me talk. Okay. But anyway, let me just say, what we have to do as Black people to get back to my point. And we'll talk about Willie Lynch another time, and we'll talk about Emmett Till, and we'll talk about a few other very pivotal things that happened in our history to identify exactly what was going on in the time that it was going on. A lot of people have paid sacrifice, from Rosa Parks. Did you know there was a lady, a teenager, that was actually jailed for not giving up her seat on the bus before Rosa Parks?
Who doesn't know that by now, bro?
You know what? A lot of people don't. That's why this forum is important.
America, most of ADOS knows that by now, that it wasn't about Rosa Parks. She was a plant. That's
I don't think she was
on
a
YouTube.
plant. That's not how it happened. I don't think she was.
Okay, but that's on YouTube. Everybody knows that there was another
No, I don't
girl.
think she was. I didn't get it from YouTube.
And I can tell you that my mom used to ride at the back of the bus, who probably could tell that same story.
Well, if you're older than me, you rode on the back of the bus
Yes.
too.
No, I didn't. I'm from the 70s,
Well,
69, 70,
Yeah,
71,
well, I'm from the early
72.
60s.
Hey,
So I
boy,
definitely- yeah.
we was
I
on
rode
the front of
back
that bus by
mom.
72. We was on the front of that bus by 72.
Yeah,
Nah,
but I
we
was
was
on
like,
there as a
I'm black
kid.
and I'm proud. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
there you go.
You
I
was
was
a
on
little
there as a
dude.
kid. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's
you was a
beside
little
the point.
dude.
I don't want to get off track on that. But let's make some headway, because I have to leave. I'm here in Dubai, and I got a long day ahead of me. It's already at 1:30 p.m. here.
Can we talk about Dubai though?
We
Like,
can
I
listen. I
really-
would love to get to
Yeah,
it, but
let's go.
I don't want to be interrupted again, or else I just won't get there. I promise you.
Let's talk about
This is
Dubai.
just
Let's
me
Yeah,
interrupting.
because
or-
you're the most.
I'm
antagonistic
curious
guy on
as
the planet.
hell. I'm so curious.
Have you ever
I'm
been
so-
to Dubai, or were you ever planning to come to Dubai? What's your enthusiasm about Dubai? Tell me, why would you come here? What do you think is?
I would not come to Dubai. I would not come to a Muslim country. I can't buy weed.
Brother, then that's a very poor excuse not to come. I'm sorry, that's a very poor.
Nah,
I get it.
is that you? I can't buy no
that's me,
weed
man.
up there.
Yeah, I don't smoke weed.
No, I'm
Get
not
off
coming
mine,
to Dubai.
brother.
Yeah, that's
No.
kind of low-minded, bro. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's high-minded.
Yeah, it is. But it's okay. In my opinion,
The original roster, Bob Marley, said that cannabis reveals you to yourself. So no,
You mean the
any
psycho-
country
the psychotropic
can come to smoke some good ganja. No, man.
Well, you about to lose that right in Thailand.
No,
I hope
not with my connect knack.
Yeah, okay. Don't get
I
caught
got
with
you.
the weed once it's made illegal.
Yeah, they'll cut your head
Yeah,
off.
I got you. Plug. I got plugged.
It's
And
not,
they're not doing
no
it.
drug on the planet is more important than my travel and my access to places. If you ever want to come to Dubai, do not do drugs of any kind, or they will make sure you never leave here. And if you do leave
No
here,
place on the planet is more important than my drug.
well, then don't go anywhere. There you go. Stay
Yeah.
myopic if you like. That's a good
Say
myopic
less,
approach.
right? Say less, right?
Yeah. No, not to say
No
less.
place on
It
the
doesn't make
planet.
sense what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
all.
No place on the planet is more
I mean, come on.
important.
Come on. For
In
weed.
my-
you
Yeah, I
know,
want to go back to the racism thing or Dubai.
let's do
Like the
something, yeah.
weed is kind of
Well, you know what, Dubai,
lowbrow.
though, I'll tell you the reason I asked the question, why would you come here? Because you have to come with purpose, and you have to come with a little money. If you don't have it, you're gonna fail miserably in Dubai. You will.
All right, so
It's-
to the homie,
There-
I have no purpose. I'm old. I have no purpose. I've lived
don't
my
come.
purpose.
You asked
I've
the
lived
question.
through my purposes. Yeah. So you know, if we ever meet again on these YouTube streets, I have no purpose. I have no
That's
goals.
That's very sad.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you what sad looks like. I'm
I
a
don't really
senior.
want to know.
All right, that's cool.
Let's get back to the other
If you
conversation.
keep
Let's go back.
living,
No, bro. You trying to take me off my point? I was making a
if
point.
you keep living, you'll
No, I
understand
don't-
sad.
But if
Sad
you start
is
off with
social
something
anxiety
positive,
disorder.
something negative, people probably want to listen to you.
I'm not
At the
trying to
same
be
time-
negative. It's
But you
not
are
about
being
being negative. I'm here to
But
tell
you
you,
are being
just
negative.
keep living, homie. Just
I'm
keep
homie
living.
now. Homie and kid, and that's who I am. Okay, no
All
problem.
right, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Just keep living, sir, and
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
realize that life is longer than what you thought it would be.
And you're
Life's
explaining that
not
to me, a guy who's older than you, who have done more things before breakfast than you do all day.
You're not older than me. I don't think you are.
You said
If
you
you
come
are.
out of the 70s. I come out of the early 60s, brother. 1961.
Bro, you
So-
older than me? Hold on.
I'm
whoa,
absolutely
whoa, whoa,
older than
whoa.
you. And there's a thing called respect to your elders.
Are
So
you
how about
serious?
hushing? I'm absolutely older
I'm
than you.
finna bow down.
Damn,
I don't want you to bow. I just, I'm sorry, B. What were you saying, B?
No, I just said you pull rank on him.
Well, I wasn't trying. I heard him say he was older than me.
Bro,
Then he said he was born in the
Nat,
70s. I
my
was like,
bad, man. My
know,
Yeah, he
bad.
pull rank on you, bro. You gotta respect the OG, man.
My bad.
I mean, the first time I ever saw a drive-by
Richard's
shooting, the
younger than
police
you?
was shooting at me. Okay.
Richard.
Yeah. The first time I ever saw a drive-by shooting in Chicago on 51st and Federal projects, the white projects, the yellow project buildings. The police were shooting at me. That's the first drive-by shooting I ever saw as a kid. So
They didn't hit you? They didn't hit you?
But they did kill a couple of guys with it. This is not a joke,
Matt,
man.
I did not know that, bro. I didn't know he was older
Absolutely.
than me. Really didn't.
But I grew up in Knowlestown, Blackstone Rangers, Disciples, all that, Vice Lords, and the Vice, and all that. I grew up in all that crap. So, somebody said I was privileged over here. No, I'm just smart. I read. I'm educated. I've been around the world many times.
You're not white?
No, I'm black, bro. Do I sound like a golly G nigga to you?
Hey, homie.
Do I
listen.
sound like a golly G nigga to you?
Hey, hold up. I speak the Queen's English too.
No, we'll speak
So-
Queen's English, but don't ask me about my race and culture when I've already asked you that.
I was just asking. People think I'm white when I'm on the phone.
I don't think you're white.
Negotiating my bills.
No, I don't. I don't.
Just
I don't believe that. But here's what I can tell you though, and about that. Growing up in Chicago was hard. When your parents divorced and you're kicked out of a 16-room home, our mortgage was $165 a month. We got kicked out of there because my father only paid $120 in child support for 6 kids. Somebody in the audience said I was privileged because I speak with the vernacular of the mainstream world.
Real
Thinking
game.
that I've never been privileged on any. Matter of fact, everything I've ever done in my life was hard. I fought every single day. I learned. I taught myself taekwondo, standing outside of a taekwondo dojo or gym when I was a kid to teach myself taekwondo. To later on become a black belt. I switched to karate or Japanese style, and I'm a 3rd Dan Goshiru, trained by a 10th Dan Marco Tulio Diaz out of Honduras. I've been all over the world many times. I know more. I speak other languages. You see, I'm fluidez. I do all kinds of things that most black people in our culture don't do because they lock themselves in or because they become so myopic in their thinking and their processes. They don't get out in the world. I'm here sometimes. I'm listening in Arabic. I'm speaking in Spanish. I'm talking to my boy Strictly. Sometimes he talks in French, and we maneuver. As a military, we say you have to be able to, on the battlefield, you have to be able to shoot, move, and communicate all at the same time. And that's what we're doing in a proverbial sense. We're shooting at what we want and we're getting it. We're moving quickly, fast, and efficiently, and we're communicating effectively. That's what it's all about. That decides culture. That decides.
So, young brother.
Did you call me young brother again?
How am I ever going to meet a girl out here with a guy like you out here moving, shooting?
Is that a real question? Or you just?
No, it's not a real question.
It's not. I'm just shooting.
Oh, okay. But the quick answer is stop talking. Let them talk. Listen, and you'll get that girl.
No, I can't. I'm too old for that.
That's the quick answer. Then don't.
I'm too old for that. Yeah, I hear you. I see you out here. I can't. I've
had some awesome women in my life. I'll tell
Hey,
you.
brother Richard.
So have I. Hold up,
Mac. To the live stream, brother, and you got a Pan-African flag with a black fist, and you're not comporting yourself as one.
I'm not trying to comport myself in any kind of way, Nakmeezy. I'm not trying to comport. It is just an avatar.
It's called courtesy, bro.
Stop playing. And the homie on the panel right now will tell you.
You called him homie and kid, and he's addressed you gently 2 or 3 times already. This is what I'm saying. When you sip,
All right.
then you
So
get a
Matt,
little loose. But hold on, let
so
me rock for a second because I love all my brothers, including you.
if I say
But Black,
that
especially you.
homie and
But hold,
kid,
but hold on,
I
brother.
didn't mean
When
that
I
in
got
any
on, let's
disrespectful.
go back to when I got on, right? And then you and I started interacting. Do you remember when I asked you how old you were?
Mm-hmm.
At the point that I asked you how old you were, I gave you
My bad,
carte
Nat.
blanche to speak over me as a 50-year-old man with a business and a family because I
My bad, Nat.
understand the pecking
My bad.
order, right? So if there's
My
a
bad.
brother, and regardless of his age, who's dropping knowledge and facts, I agree with most. Some things I may have a different point of view. We have to defer to our elder.
My
And when you
bad,
call
Nat.
him kid and homie,
Yeah,
you're like
didn't mean that.
poking the bear, and he's been
Yeah.
very patient. Let's not do that. This when you listen to what these brothers are saying, right? And they're talking about stories about immigration officers in Africa. Da, da, da. Yo, we don't get high level people like this on the panel. So when we do get them, let's show them the proper respect that they deserve.
Hey, Mac. So if I have anything to offer on the panel, I appreciate that I'm able to come up. And you're absolutely right. I don't know. I'm living a life just like everybody else out there, trying to figure out living overseas, just like anybody else who has ever done that. And I apologize. I deeply
You don't
do.
have to apologize because we're not doing this
But
to
I
like
can.
beat
That's the
you.
point.
Yeah,
I can
you
apologize.
can, and apologies are really a show of you, accountability, right? But that's
My bad.
not the point of us saying this. It's really just the point is to get the conversation in a place where it can flow. So I wanted to go back to the racism thing, right? You said you're racist against white people, right? Is this something that you act outward, or you just don't rock with them? You avoid them? Like how do you practice your racism in real life?
Knack, are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Is that a question that I can
Yes.
answer?
Your racism, how does it manifest? How does your racism manifest in everyday life? Anti-white
Sol-
racism.
solitude.
Okay.
Yeah. Simply.
You just
It's,
avoid white people.
yeah.
Okay.
And then
I
and then you move
understand.
to Thailand. Okay.
It's what my parents taught me.
Hmm. I understand.
Not directly, but the fact that I was raised in a black elementary school where there were no white kids, the fact that I was raised in a junior high school, there were no white kids in class. If they were, I didn't see them. The fact that when I was in high school, I didn't pay any attention to white people. My first contact with white people was when I had a job. That's what it was for me.
Right.
And I don't know that is what it was for black people in my era. I know we had that sentiment amongst us, and nobody hated white people. Don't get me wrong. Nobody talked about doing like, I'm black and I'm proud, and white people ain't shit. It wasn't that. There was a period of the white man is the devil that I went through and experienced. And beyond that, though, no one taught in the black community black hate like that, or white hate like that.
No, that's not
Outside,
true.
Yeah, they
Not
did.
true.
outside,
They did.
outside of the
That
NOI.
is very untrue.
Hold on, Mac. You from New York? Outside the NOI.
Well, then you
Outside
have
of
the
that,
Nation of Gods and Earths, and you have spin-offs of the NOI, which is the Nation of Gods and Earths, and other
and
groups
so
that
what do
came
you
out of
think
that.
about what their philosophy was?
Well, I was
How do you
raised on their
feel about
philosophy.
white people? Wait, how do you feel about white people?
Well, I was raised on that philosophy, and thank you for throwing the question back, which is why I asked you who is the original man, right? So that's lesson 1 and 1 to 10. So lesson 2 is who's the colored man. And if I repeat who the colored man is on here, I have a chance of getting, putting her channel in jeopardy.
Yeah,
not-
don't answer my question.
So wait, hold on. I'm exercising. I'm censoring myself. I'm just saying if I said it,
Yeah,
it could be problematic. So that's
part.
what I grew up on, right? A very pro-black, not even Pan-African, more of a black nationalist / Pan-African viewpoint, which is why I told you about the flag. And then I just started really looking around me, right? Looking at who my ops were, who were the active ops, who were the passive ops, looking, at situations in my life. And I said, yo, it ain't really, and I don't want to say it ain't about color, right? But there's black people that'll do you dirtier than any white man walking the planet. Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you this real quick question though. Now,
yes.
Ain't you a little bit racist?
Now check this out. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. I've evolved from being a racist, and I was a racist because I was implanted with racism. Hold on, brother. You gotta let me finish. Racism was implanted in me by an early experience when I was delivering papers. I told you about the guy who told me his Rottweiler didn't like my kind. That made me ask the question, like, why do they speak like that? What does it mean, my kind? Then I got put on to I got put onto the psychology of racism, and then the black version to combat the white version of racism, which kind of made me a militant. Okay. But that a lot of the math wasn't mathing with that. And so what I do now, instead of being racist, I deal with people regardless of their color of their skin on a personal basis. So I start with everyone off with 100% of respect. How much of that you keep is based on our interaction, right? Now, what I will say is that while I don't hate white people, they are not, they don't even register on my Richter scale. I just don't have anything to do with them. So they're kind of like non-factors to me in many aspects of my life, but I have some white people that have looked out for me to the point that I would forever be grateful to them. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just wholesale say that I hate white people. But like, I think it was Muhammad Ali. He said, if you got a whole bunch of snakes coming down the hallway, you don't get a chance. You don't have to pick which one. You don't get time to pick which one is poisonous or not, right? I kind of deal with that. So I practice pattern recognition and also just focusing on the issues of my people. And, if I have interactions with white people, so be it, positive or negative, but I don't dwell on them either way.
But that doesn't make you a racist. That doesn't make you a racist. It makes you just
I'm not a racist.
Situationally aware and culturally aware of self. That's all
right.
that is.
And pattern recognition, using history as a guide, but it doesn't stop me. And matter of fact, I don't teach my kid, my children, that the white man is Thanos and making the white man some evil monster that can control their life in every way. Because what I'll be doing is I'll be stopping them from being excellent.
Creating
a lot of our people,
brother, are they not
white people?
Are they not?
Are they not what? And there you go, cutting my wisdom in the middle of me saying it. And it's crazy that your younger brother has to keep reaching up to my older brother, like, yo, let me finish, man.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, B. I want to hear what you have to say about
your kids. So I don't talk victory out of my children's mouth by making racism and the white man this huge powerful thing. While it is a reality, I make sure that I breathe life into my children. I don't try to talk them out of life's victories by making them say, oh, well, if it's white supremacy so bad and people are so racist, then why should I even try? Like I mentioned, that racism, that race war that guy wanted to start at a rap concert, I mentioned it purposely. I said it was a bunch of white FBI agents that got into a space where black people couldn't get into, and they foiled that plot. So, racism, on one hand is kind of a lowbrow um theory to be practicing, you know what I'm saying, or ideology to be having, because it just generalizes people to the negative. And while I don't do non-black allies, I don't do that because I think black people should have their own voice in their own issues. um I just say, look, y'all over there, we over here. I don't hate you. If you hate me and you act on it, then you're gonna get what's coming to you. But if you cool, then you cool. But I got what I got going on over here. That's all.
Well, I commend that. I think that most people can't parse racism. Most people can't. Most people don't even know why they hate other people. Even white people don't even know why they hate black people. Or they find our purpose in their mainstream world disjointed, or something that's to be ostracized or looked over. They don't even know why. Most people don't know why they do what they do. Not because they're dumb. You can fix dumb. It's most of the time because they're stupid. You cannot fix stupid. And people become stupid when they lack the opportunity, or give themselves the opportunity to learn a more expanded version of what they think they already know. One of the reasons why women are raped, oftentimes, not because they want it and they ask for it or any of that, but they put themselves in a set of circumstances where there's a higher propensity or opportunity for them to be raped, even if it's unwitting or wittingly. And they don't ever want to take the blame for that. And they never want to be responsible for that. They'll say things like, well, men should never rape a woman anyway. And I agree with that, but that's not the point. The point is, it was stupid to go to the bar and have a skirt on so high people could see the crack of your ass when you bent over. And you entice people to do that. You should be able to wear what you want, but you can't go into an unfamiliar place and expect familiarity to be your best friend, because it's unfamiliar. And that's what people do. They find themselves in untenable circumstances and bad things happen, just like racism. People don't know why they think it's okay because that's what they were taught. Daddy sat her on a knee when she was a little girl and said, I protect you. I love you. If any man ever treats you any worse than I treat you right now, you need to run. And she learned that lesson. And all through high school and all through her young life, she's practicing that. But then she goes off to college and she meets this narcissistic captain of the quarterback, or the quarterback of the team. And he runs her like she's left and right. And daddy's not there to protect her. He's not there to breathe life into her anymore. She's giving her power away to a narcissist. And then all of a sudden, she starts to do those things indicative of that relationship. And she finds herself in turmoil and in peril all the time as a result. And she doesn't know why. That every time she gets a boyfriend thereafter, each one of those boyfriends comes as narcissists, or somebody who beats her, who hurts her. And she wonders why this is stuck with her. And she never really knows why this happened to her. Because why? Because she put herself in circumstances where she's been conditioned to believe that the identifiable victim markers, which I created a whole lesson over, and the identifiable victim markers that's in a woman who's been raped is different from the identifiable victim markers of a child who was beaten, or a victim that's dealing with a narcissist. All these markers are different. And in context, anxiety for a child that was raped is different from the anxiety of someone who has PTSD. And that's the way people treat racism. They look at it as a surface level concept, and a simple which it is. But we've convoluted this very simple concept of looking over our shoulders, seeing somebody of a different color, being either xenophobic or racist to that person. Now, what you actually feel, I think, brother with the fist up, what you actually feel is xenophobia. Richard, forgive me, I slipped my brain in the housing group here. But Richard, okay. What you actually feel is xenophobia. Xenophobia is like racism, but it's different, because it's just your disdain and dislike for others unlike you. That is not racism. That's just discrimination. And by all accounts, discrimination is fucking good. It's good to be discriminatory. It's just not good to be racially discriminatory. But it's very good to be discriminatory. And I think that that's where people confuse themselves in between xenophobia, or being xenophobic and being racist. All right,
brothers. Alexander wanted to say something. He's about to leave.
Go ahead, Al. Sorry about that, brother.
No problem. Alexander?
Good. Hey, I just want to say this has been a nice conversation and and I don't know if I'll be able to make the life that Richard was talking about, but I will say this, you know, and I was listening to the other brother who was talking, and I would say this, um, a woman may not know if a man is a narcissist because when she meets him the first time, he doesn't show it. And then he starts to change somewhere down the line. And and I do believe the rhetoric that's going on the internet is the main reasons why. And the main reasons why you have you know black women and children being unalived by a narcissist.
Absolutely.
It's because he starts to change somewhere down the line where he thinks that, oh, she's isolated from her family, from her mom and dad and everyone in her family and her friends. I get to treat her uh, like so and so.
Hmm.
And that's what I you know it came to terms with.
Hmm.
And I do believe that it's time it's time to point it's time to point it to stop the brainwashing that that the black manosphere rhetoric is putting out there,
Yeah,
because you seeing it in real time. Their rhetoric is actually getting black women and children killed.
it
But
is.
at the end, they don't care. All they want is submission without no question, without even being held accountable for his own actions. And I
It's called
believe,
a narcissistic fix. They need to get their supply, their narcissistic supply, just like a drug overdose or a drug injection. But keep going. You're absolutely correct.
Can we let him finish?
and I believe that if we come out and say that this rhetoric that you're hearing from the black manosphere is wrong, and they are narcissistic when they are telling you this, that's when you need to that's when you need to run to the other direction, because they really don't have the best interest for you. They
Hmm.
really don't. And
Absolutely.
that's all I have to say. Y'all bees.
Before you go, sir, thank you for that comment because I want to echo 2 seconds. One thing:
Thank you, brother.
people will
Appreciate that
only
answer.
ever people will only ever do to you what you let them do to you, and that's the premise we teach how to deal with narcissists in norm therapy. At norm therapy, we deal with. I have hundreds of patients around the world who experience what you just said,
That's not
exactly what you said.
accurate, my brother. That's not
I'm
accurate.
sorry.
That's not accurate.
No, people will only do to you what you allow them to do with you.
That's not accurate.
It's absolutely accurate. People, what they think they can get away with. People, if they don't think they can get away with it, brother, they won't try it. That's how a bully takes your money at lunch, or a bully in the workplace bully you because he know you'll take it.
Well, the bully culture is a culture now. So that's not accurate. And
Well,
I have probably been bullied,
have
and
you ever stood up to your
have,
bullies?
you have probably been bullied,
No, I've never been
That's
bullied in my life.
That's why we have a word called bullies.
Brother, that's not true.
That's why, if I could just say this real quick, that's why we have this whole rescue concept of bullies. How do we rescue our babies, our children from bullies like you? If you've been a bully, you probably don't understand what being bullied is like. You may
So
not
you're saying
understand.
I'm a bully.
I'm not saying you're a bully.
You said
You said you've never been bullied.
I've never been bullied because I was taught something early on in life by my father and mother. And that is, don't take shit from anyone. If you get your ass whooped, that's better than taking their shit.
Young fella, you're acting as if no one else's mother and father told them that.
Listen, insult me one more time.
My brother. I apologize. I apologize.
Listen, you what you're saying makes no sense. You have to stand up to your bullies. That's what you have to do. What people lack in the world. Did you know that the actual number of people in the world who actually stand up for themselves is almost less than 2%?
I've stood up to my bullies too.
No, that's not true to call somebody else.
You're a bully stander up to her.
I'm sorry?
Hold up, brother.
What you're saying is wrong.
You stand up
trying
to
to share
bullies.
this knowledge to people. You're
But
going to get
wait,
them hurt.
you stand up to bullies. There are kids who can't.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Let's get there. I can show you how those kids can if you listen.
Get me there. Get me there.
Let me get you there. What happens, people will only ever do to you what you allow them to do to you. And the only reason you allow that is if you haven't been taught or given the permission in your life not to let it happen. You don't know how to retort. You don't know how to respond. You literally react. Most people do that. They react to circumstance instead of respond. Remember, circumstances always dictate the outcome of every situation you're in. If you're in shitty circumstances, chances are something shitty is going to happen. If you're in great circumstances, chances are something great is going to happen. So you have to decide what circumstances in which you'll find yourself. That's the first thing you need to do. And remember, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobes, all work in concert with your threat center, the amygdala. God, I can't even say it. I'm so damn tired.
If I could question you real quick.
Yeah, but no, let me finish. Let me just.
So what about the circumstances? What if you're in the wrong circumstances?
Because you put yourself there normally. But let me finish the point. The point has nothing to do with what you're saying. And I want to go back to that. If you're being bullied, and you're being bullied, and if somebody's popping you in the mouth every day and taking your lunch money, what's the solution? Get popped in the mouth every day while they take your lunch money? Is that it? Or do you get your ass whooped one day while you're fighting back? Because the next time, the bully's going to think twice.
What is the solution?
I just told you. That we pacify our kids these days and tell them, oh, just turn the other cheek. But what people don't know about that Bible verse, turning the other cheek.
Can you say it again, though? I missed it.
If you keep reading that verse, if you keep reading, it says, turn the other cheek, but hold on to your sheath. That means pull out.
I'm bullying you right now. You do understand?
You're not bullying me. You're just interrupting me. I have to be in order to bully me, you have to be able to overpower me and control me.
That's what a bully does. So I'm bullying you right now.
You're just interrupting.
What do you mean by that?
You're interrupting. You're being rude and insensitive. That's not bully. Bully overpowers and it controls and it creates an element of fear. All abuse in the world, especially bullying, has an element of fear. And there is no one or nothing on this planet I fear, especially you. If I really wanted to say some of the things I should have said throughout this conversation, you wouldn't like me at all. But I've not done that because that's called restraint.
Actually would. It probably isn't much
it won't help you. You're not helping.
Well, hold on, my brother.
You can fix dumb, but you can't fix
there's probably nothing you can say to me that would hurt me because I am a righteous man.
You have false consensus in your life. You suffer.
And I've done some good things in my life.
Maybe, but that's not indicative of what we're talking about now. Let's talk about the point. Right. It's like that's what women do in conversations with men. They're talking about the point and the resolve of it.
I'm not a girl.
They bring up, well, you called me white earlier, so why can't I say that you're operating like a girl? Most women in the culture.
I'm not a girl, though. I didn't call you white. I just asked.
Well, you don't have to say it. If you have to say you're not a girl, then hey, that's on you. I'm just using the same point of reference you used. I mean, you used
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
so beside that point, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some rest today. I enjoyed this. Invite me back when I'm rested, and you'll get a different conversation. More of the same, I think. But I want to answer one last question before I go.
Your name is not listed below your icon or
just call me
whatever.
Norm Therapy or go to the site. And, I just want to keep it anonymous on this like
I
everybody
would
else.
love
But
to
anyway,
connect with you, brother.
I want to say
Hold
this,
on.
No,
I
you hold
connect.
on. I'm talking.
I want to connect, and I want
Hold
to
on.
like
I don't want to
sub to your
connect
channel.
if you don't want to listen. But anyway,
Wow.
thank you for having me on your program. But I
My
want to
bad.
talk about this family just for a few minutes. As you
My
asked
bad.
me about 30 minutes ago before we got distracted, you wanted to know about that family dynamic. I think what we've done as a culture, Black people as a culture, we've made our family unit a very disjointed model. And the family should be very in concert with one another as we grow and learn and operate as Black people. I think we don't do that anymore. We don't provide that kind of incentive in our community for that to occur. And I think that's our biggest problem. And there are certain dynamics you can adopt. And I think one of the dynamics we should adopt as Black people, I think when people say don't do something to their child, for instance, and to keep harmony in the family, don't just say don't do it because I'm your mom or dad. Say don't do it because this is how it will hurt you in the future if you do, or this is how it will help you if you do it too early or too late in life. You give them options and choices so they feel comfortable. And to include your wife, to include yourself, you communicate on a level where you give people rationale behind what you say to them and respect. Once you provide rationale and respect in a family unit to anything that's said or done, and even if it's stupid what they say or do, give it the element of attention that it needs. That'll grow your family into a very relatable and homogenized unit, and you'll work together over long periods of time, bettering the family.
So it is norm therapy, right?
Anyway, it's good to see you guys, and y'all have a good one.
Wait,
Yes,
before you leave, it's norm therapy, right?
Okay, guys.
I just subbed. It's norm.
No,
therapy.
I don't respond to stupidity, bro. I'm tired of it. It's just.
I'm not stupid, Norm.
No,
Stop
you're providing stupidity. You're providing elements of stupidity.
I'm not. I'm not a stupid guy. I've got a legacy of.
If you have to say you're not stupid, then
on
chances
YouTube.
are you are.
Stop it. No, I'm not. I'm just asking you, am I on the right channel on YouTube? I just subbed.
Yeah, that's norm therapy.
All right. Say less. I'm out. All right. He can leave. He can call me stupid. None of that matters. The beauty of getting old is nothing anybody says to you matters anymore. You can call me stupid, blind, dumb, unformed. When you get to my point in life, it don't really matter. You can take it all. You literally are the oldest fighter in the ring. I got 66 rounds in. What are you going to tell me? You can. Go ahead. I'll listen. I really will. But the fact of the matter is, and as Magnesi will tell you, got 50 rounds in. 50 rounds. Yo, that's a long time, Knack. Ain't it? Life's not short, Knack, is it? Nah, Zen.
Nah, man, you was wilding today, man. Yo, you wilding.
Am I wilding? Is that what it was?
Why you say I'm bullying you right now?
My bad, Knack. I didn't have nothing to do because I don't got nothing to do, so I went wild.
The brother was mad patient with you, though. Is that what I did?
My bad. Is that what I did?
The brother Norm was mad patient with you, and I learned, like, for real, because I have a very short fuse. I don't know if y'all ever saw me.
Fuck that bullshit these niggas be talking.
Yo, chill out. I learned from him though, because I learned how to be, control
they
my
can't teach you
impulse.
nothing, bro. If anybody younger than you can teach you anything, and I've said this to younger people,
He's older than me.
But at the end, Richard, how old are you? I'm confused.
If anybody older than me can teach me anything, then I've missed some classes in school. I'm academically, like situated. I want to say the word, but I won't on Zed's channel. If there's anybody younger than me that can teach me anything about the walk of life, bring them up here. Show them to me.
Well,
I'm 60. Let me answer the brother's question.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. You
I'll
don't
be
like
60.
it, huh? You don't like it, huh?
I'll be 67 in October. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like it, man.
You don't like getting cut off. Yo, I'm October. That's
don't
that's
tell me
my born
nothing.
month too.
You can't tell me nothing.
That's good though. 67. That's good though.
Yo, if I got this far, I'm still healthy with vim and vigor. I can show you pictures.
That's
me
good,
walking
though.
these streets. If you can show me a better way of life and get to where I'm at, people ask me, yo, what's up with you? I'm like, I'm up to 66, going on 67. Show me something else. Word? Not me being out here. Not me being a passport bro. Just living. Surviving. Got this far of it all. Let me say this something to you young brothers about the get this far of it all. Can't tell me nothing. Unless you're older than me. If you're older than me, show me how to get to the next location down the road where the traffic light is. Yeah. Give me that. There ain't nothing y'all have ever done, if you're not my age, that I haven't done.
Are you sure?
You sound very arrogant, brother. With all
I've never sold crack. You're right. You're right.
From younger people.
I've never sold crack.
I have a question for you, Richard.
I've never pimped women. You're right. There are things I didn't do. In the walk of life.
What about, have you ever been with some Siamese midget twins?
Nah. Can you answer that as my attorney?
I've never been with no midget twins.
As my attorney to answer that question.
we plead the fifth for fear of self-incrimination.
Nah, this is our first day as you as my attorney. Tell him what he needs to know.
Exactly. Because he's done it all. So it's like, damn.
Midgets? He actually said midgets? How to get you shut down on YouTube? Don't say that again. No.
I never found a midget attractive though.
Hey, Knack, let's not go there. This is Zed's channel.
Yo, son, there was one in 808 back in the day. My homie smashed a Russian midget. They used to pick her up. They used to pick her up by the waist, put her on a stage at 808. She would be dancing around with them little sausage fingers, like, hey ho.
All right, let's get back to the business at hand, which is Zed's channel. And Zed, thank you for allowing us to have a mini Black Man's Forum. I think we need to do a Black Man's Forum on a popular channel. You know, I ain't got but 376 people. Let's take it to Zed's house.
Yeah,
I think you got more followers than me. Why don't we have a Black Man's Forum and work it out?
Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
Brother's gonna work it out. Willie Hutch. If y'all, I know the brother with the accent don't know this song, but Nat, go on and dig into your YouTube video and pull up "Brother's Gonna Work It Out" by Willie Hutch.
Well, sing a bar or two for me right now, brother.
Brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it all out.
All right.
Got you, kid.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out. I'm gonna check y'all on the next one. I got another
Yeah, I'm out too. I gotta sleep.
Hey, wait. Knack, where you going? I might follow you.
I'm going to Kaisorian Empire. Follow me there and click the link.
What is it? Kaizo what?
Kaisorian Empire. The topic that he's on right
Kaisorian.
now is Africans versus FBA. I think.
Kaizo Empire TV.
Yeah.
Oh,
Knack, let me pull it
Kaisorian
up.
Empire. And in fact,
I'll meet you over there.
Zed has been on his panel as well. He's my favorite African. Zed might be my favorite African now. It's a toss up. It's between Zed. Oh, you know what? Yeah, exactly. So Kaisorian Empire. I'm going there now. Thanks everybody for watching. If you hit the Cash App salute, it's easy to leave a like. You know what I'm saying? And I'll check y'all on the next one. But Brother Richard, can you close us out with a Negro spiritual?
Yes, I can.
All
I
right.
appreciate you.
A soulful Negro spiritual in respect of our ancestors, brother.
Real short. I am the hope and the dream of the slave.
What does that mean, Papa?
I, say it one more time, am the hope and the dream of those people in shackles, wondering if one day, I could get one of these little babies up off this plantation. I am the hope, Zed, and the dream of the slave. You're looking at it. Me. I'll send you pictures if you need some from my experience on Pattaya Beach in Los Angeles as a young man. I am the hope and the dream of my mother and father. I'm the hope and dream of the slave. Say less.
All right, brother. Thank you. I'll see you on Kaizo. Zed, did you hear me say that you might be my favorite African?
Oh, okay. I was sleeping. I just woke up.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
get a room. What's that next? channel name?
Pause. No diddy.
Get
No,
a
what?
room.
What the hell?
What's that
Because I
next
said you
channel
might.
name?
I said she might be my favorite African
I'm coming up
besides
to that next
Kaizo.
channel. What's the channel name?
No,
One more
no.
time.
I am your number one favorite.
Yes,
Get a
yes,
room.
yes.
What's that channel name, Mac?
It's
Mac
Kaisorian Empire, and Zed is
K-A-
familiar with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Korean
Yo,
My
come
lord.
there now.
Huh?
Empire.
Zed, are you going to sleep now?
I was sleeping. I don't know, for some reason I woke up and I'm like, oh, do you?
You happen to wake up when I said you're my favorite African. Look at that.
Yeah, she puts
I
us on
send good vibes your way. Richard, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
I am
Richard.
jealous, man.
Yeah, I know you're jealous. I know you're jealous. No,
not
injera for you, my friend. Only for me.
Look at
Light
you.
skin love, baby. Light skin love. Light skin
All
love.
right, y'all. I'm gonna check it out. Yo, why keep messing up his name? State Travels. What is it above me? Congo
Strictly.
Haitian.
Yeah,
Strictly Travels.
Yeah.
Brother, it's always good to be on a panel with you. I wish you could speak more because you got a lot of knowledge. And I remember we had this Spanish battle because I said, "Yo, do you speak Spanish?" And you started kicking it, rah rah. I said, "All right, no doubt."
Yeah, we ain't trying to hear all that though.
Are you jealous that you only speak one language, brother Richard?
That's it. Yes, sir.
Come on,
So,
man. You grew up here with multilinguals.
Kazorian Empire.
Yeah,
That's
he's
all
live
right.
right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Kazorian Empire. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, now I think it's Polymath Empire. He changed the
Yeah.
name.
No, I see the live.
So do you guys want me to close the room? So
Yeah,
that
close the room, please.
okay. I love you all. Good night,
Oh,
everybody.
my God.
Beautiful.
You
We
make
love
me
you more.
wither. Oh my God, I'm shaking now.
Okay, good night.
Hey, all right. hey, full applause, homie.
No,
That's my
don't say
woman.
pause. I mean, isn't that for women, for men? or something. Okay, guys. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Just means we love you, sister. Keep
Okay,
doing your
I
thing.
love you, guys. Bye bye.
Good night.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.